uwager.lv, sportsbook, and casino. Sign up today at uwager.lv, the premier online sportsbook, taking wagers since 1998. The most player-friendly lines, weekly juice specials, and a true dime line in MLB. Unique casino platforms with thousands of games. Play poker, high stakes, low stakes, or tournament play. uwager.lv, what we offer. Free same-day payouts. Customer service and wagering support, 24/7, year-round. Free monthly rebates on your action and daily casino rebates. Contests, free bets, best bonuses, and giveaways. Generous referral program. Get an 80% free play bonus on your first deposit, up to $1,000. Sign up today, and use promo code SPORTSWEB. Remember, you can't win if you don't play.
Giving you something to think about. Well, they teased us, didn't they, ladies and gentlemen, huh? The first half, they were up 17-3, doing everything we talked about on this show ad nauseum. Isn't it amazing? You know, fans, sports broadcasters alike are not so stupid after all. Pass play action, mixing it around a little bit, being able to go down the field, dominating time of possession, third down conversions, going to your playmaker and Mike Evans, and it all seems to work. You start to feel good about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2022. But don't do that. Because as always, and this goes back to one of the terms that my father used to say, rest in peace, Richard Blake, self-destruct Bucs. Can somebody explain to me, why are you calling a fake punt? Why are you calling a fake punt, Todd Bowles? And if it isn't a fake punt, what is Giovanni Bernard doing? He does know that he doesn't play for the Cincinnati Bengals still, does he? He does play for the Bucs. But oh no, that's not just it. No. We're not going to leave him out of this mess. It's not just the special teams today. Heck, it's not even the defense. You know who it was today that cost this team the win? It's Tom Brady. Sorry, it is 4 turnovers and a partridge in a pear tree. Terrible throw. Fumble. Another fumble. An interception. And I get it. You can come on this program and make all the friggin' excuses you want to about the offensive line being bad. We know it. Once again, critical penalties, nullifying big-time plays. Amazing.
This guy sucks.
Amazing how that works. And if it's not the offense, then it's the defense. But I feel bad for the defense. They did everything they could today to win this game. But when you're being put on short fields, which, you know, you kind of remember about 2 or 3 years back, maybe about 3 years back, 4 years back, you know, we used to have these type of shows on the sports web, and it was always Jameis Winston turns over the ball too much. You can't win that way. Well, guess what? Tom Brady turned over the ball too much, and you lost. And you know what? The worst part about it is, this team could win that game. This team could beat any team in the National Football League. But you know what holds them back? Themselves. They continue to shoot themselves in the foot over and over again. And nothing has changed. You get out to a great lead and you squander it. 5 turnovers in the second half. Completely embarrassing. I thought I saw the worst Bucs football ever. But nope. This team just showed you how bad they really are. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television on this happy edition of the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. How do we start off this show here on a Wednesday night? Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, we'll have Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy in the building. We'll have Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire of 1252 Chicago Sports. We'll have the Legends return, Mr. Leo Haggerty. What are we talking about? A disappointing loss versus the Cincinnati Bengals.
This guy sucks.
After that, we'll do our wrestling talk about 10:15, 10:20 with Mr. Mark Mancini of Mancini Media. Lots of stuff to talk about in WWE, AEW, wrestling all around the world, and of course, the bodyguard of the Berg, Mr. Ralph Williams. And then, of course, we'll take your phone calls as we always do on this broadcast. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to the comments really quick, and then we'll get out to Ray, we'll get out to Harry, and we'll get out to your calls. Yes, we are live. Tribal Troll in the house, acknowledge me. We shall.
Acknowledge me.
And then I'll acknowledge you like this.
Sucks.
Let's go out to Jim. You're on now. Absolutely. And Ralphus, shut the hell up.
Shut up!
Even though it's kind of funny, though. You shouldn't be saying that when the guy's not on here to defend himself. But neither here nor there. I know what you guys want to talk about. Once again, if you guys want to vent about this disappointing loss, you're more than able to do that. Phone line is open. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's get out to him. Mr. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy there, live in Seminole. Your thoughts on this disappointing loss after the Bucs have a big-time lead, 17-3. Welcome to the Evolution.
Thank you, Pete. How are you tonight? We've used this term throughout when we think things are going to go good, then they don't go good, or they're going to go north and end up going south. But Sunday's game was the epitome of the old statement or the old phrase. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times, because we saw a championship team in the first half, and then we saw the 2022 Buccaneers that we've seen a lot so far in 22 in that second half versus those Bengals.
Let's go out to our phone lines. We're not going to waste any time tonight. Dave, welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy in the house. What do you have to say about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Hey, well, first of all, I haven't talked to Ray in a while. Hey, Ray, how's it going, buddy?
Dave, good. How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. Did you hear I broke up with Tammy?
Yeah.
You care, but
No, it's all good, brother. Happy holidays to you.
you too, man. You and your wife and your family.
Thank you.
But listen, I was at the game. Well, you guys know I got season tickets, so I'm at every game.
Right.
So, I mean, that game, I was having fun being my Michael Myers shit and all that kind of stuff, getting pictures with people. But the whole thing was that we freaking had one of the best first halves that we probably had all season.
Correct.
And I'm like, this is not Tom Brady. I'm like, I've never seen him fumble and throw like 2 interceptions, like right almost exactly to the person. And freaking when we had like 4 turnovers inside of like what, 5 or 6 minutes or something like that. It wasn't very long.
4 turnovers, yeah, 5 turnovers in that second half, and of course, 4 turnovers by Tom Brady, and of course the stupid fake punt, which people were trying to tell me this week. It was a great call. That was a great call to do that. Really, it's a great call at your own 34-yard line when you've done nothing like that all year long, and you can't even execute it. And the guy that's supposed to make the play doesn't know what he's supposed to do. That's coaching, and once again, that's a terrible call, especially with your offense cooking and your defense playing well.
Now, Pete, I'm going to disagree with you there. I'm going to excuse me, Dave. It sucked that it didn't work, but that you look at that replay, and it would have went for at least 5 to 7 yards. Now, looking back on it, if you're looking at it just purely from a defensive-minded coaching standpoint, you go, it was the worst call. I'm posing that if that play works right there, it does possibly turn that momentum back and get the Buccaneers going in the right direction. And I thought it was, remember Giovanni Bernard played for these Bengals for 8 years. I saw him earlier in the game on kick coverage, and I'm like, hey, you know what? At least he's doing something here. Rashad White's now on the first, second string offense, or first string, I'm sorry. So Gio's in there on, and I realized they were setting him up. It almost felt like, and that's what that's what a coach does for his players, a player's coach. He's going to give a guy like Giovanni Bernard, who played for those Bengals for 8 years, a nugget like that. I think the biggest disconnect is like they've posed this week. How does the one guy who has to know it's a fake punt, all other 10 guys out there knew, the one guy who has to know didn't, and that's the disconnect. And that's why it's disheartening, because it comes back to coaching. It comes back to getting guys on the same page. That's been the disconnect with these 2022 Buccaneers.
But to say that, and we'll go back to you in a minute here, Dave, if you're a defensive-minded coach and your defense is playing, and once again, Carlton Davis is basically shutting down Jamar Chase, you're getting to Joe Burrow, you've held them in check. Why even do that? Why even open up Pandora's box at that point? Punt the ball, give your defense, stop being cute, because you haven't been able to do it all year long. You have to figure out what you want to be. You want to be a conservative coach, which is what you've been all year long, and a defensive-minded coach, and I get it. They've been critical, but if you're going to go for it on fourth down, bring the greatest of all time and Tom Brady in there. Let him run the offense, at least get a freaking yard, instead of trying some cockamamie play like that to Gio Bernard. Go ahead,
Pete. I'll ask you this though: what was worse? What was worse? The fake punt that would have went for at least 5 or 6 yards and got him up the middle, or the fact that earlier when we're up 17-6, they bring out Ryan Suckup, who can't hit from outside of 50 for a 55-yarder. And at that, so I'm asking you, which was the bigger mistake if you had to choose between the two? Not pinning him. Your defense is playing lights out. Let Jake Camarda get a little practice with coffin corner, get a little Ray Guy on out there, but you go for a 55-yard field goal, and that was actually the very first turn of the game. Or that fake run out, or
51-yard field goal, and both decisions to me are different, because I believe that Suckup can hit from 51, maybe not 55 like the week before against San Francisco, but when you got the fake punt, then that's basically when the turnover situation happens. Even though the Bucs defense holds them to 3 points, they still give the Bengals momentum, and there's no reason why you should give them momentum at that point. If you're going to go for it with your offense, or punt the ball. Make a decision at the end of the day. Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. It was 4th and 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 4th and 1. If we can't get one freaking yard, what do we? I mean, we're not very good offense at all. I mean, look at the players we have.
Yep.
Even freaking Leonard Fournette, even though he hasn't been spectacular this year running the ball, he could get easily probably at least 2 yards out of that play. I mean, you would think. I mean, they usually run up the middle, running outside, but they run a fake punt again. Dave, we got to run. Let me go ahead. I'll tell you what. Use your second call. Let me give you the Ric Flair. Woo! Anything else, my friend? No, I think that's pretty good.
All right, Dave. Use that second call. Curtis, I saw you calling in. Call back in. We're on the Evolution. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. Let's go out to the comments tonight. I don't want to neglect the webheads like we seem to do here. And, of course, I want to continue on with Mr. Tampa Bay Ray, expecting Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, to come in here any minute. But I tell you what, let's go out to Curtis. Curtis, welcome to the Evolution after your Tampa Bay Buccaneers fall to the Cincinnati Bengals at 6-8. Your thoughts?
Peter?
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you something.
Yes.
I've been a Bucs fan for a long time.
Uh-huh.
The only game I can compare it to is a game that I went to in 2003.
Oh God.
Bucs Colts Monday Night Football.
Oh God.
We got it right, Curtis.
I mean, let's just put it out there. Let's just put this out there when we think of 2003 Colts and Buccaneers.
This guy sucks.
I haven't seen that bad. Yes, ma'am. Yes, honey. Okay. Thank you. Good night. I love you, okay?
All right.
Anyway, I have not seen anything that bad since that Bucs Colts game. And, listen, I was at work and I was watching the game. And I swear to you, on my grandmother's grave. I was watching the game, and I'm pretty sure I was the only person at work that was not excited because I just don't have the confidence right now.
No,
I do not have the confidence.
It's tough. Right now. It's tough to have confidence right now.
And I'm gonna tell you something. I believe truly, the whole the whole Tom Brady, BA. Yes, ma'am. The whole Tom Brady BA thing and the disconnect. I believe. Yes, I will, honey. I believe there's another disconnect.
Okay.
With Bowles and Brady, and I'm sorry to say this, I think Bowles is out of here.
Well, look, if they don't make the playoffs and they don't win this division, everybody's out. I don't care who it is, everybody's out. I'm resigned to it at this juncture. I'm ready to turn the page. I'm sorry, I'm ready to turn. I know,
but the thing is, if Brady's not here and Leftwich is gone, and we don't draft, but maybe in the top 15 or 18, we're not going to get a top quarterback, so a total rebuild. I would pose that the only consistency or lack of consistency, but the only hope we'd have for a 2023 is to at least keep the defensive side of the ball together and then run Kyle Trask out there and run RPOs all season. But if you get rid of everybody and blow it up, then I don't know.
If you don't make the playoffs, you got to blow it up.
Let me
go ahead.
Let me ask y'all this question.
Yes.
So we all remember when Dan Snyder, what he gave up to get RG3.
I'll tell you what, Curtis, hold on a minute. Let me go ahead and get my other co-host on, my co-host of the Sports Web. Here we go. It's the three amigos. It's Harry, the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire, 1252 Chicago Sports. Welcome to the Evolution with our favorite webhead on here, Mr. Curtis from Newport Richie. Go ahead, Curtis, finish. And then, Harry, you can go ahead and respond.
Sure.
So I was just saying, what do you guys think of the possibility of us mortgaging a first-round pick for next year and this year and trading up and getting a quarterback?
I think it depends on how you finish, but I'm going to go out to you, Harry, and then I'm going to go out to you, Ray. Harry, welcome to the Evolution. Your thoughts on that?
God, I'm about talked out, man. I just like from one show to another show to another show to another show. What's up, Curtis?
What's up, Harry? How you doing, brother?
Not too much, man. You don't have to worry about drafting another quarterback. I'm going to tell you why. Even if TB12 doesn't come here, just look forward to Mr. Carr from the Raiders coming to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to tell you right now, it would be the best thing for this organization because they're still built to win. I don't care who's coaching this club.
Well, it's certainly possible. Of course, the salary cap constraints and a lot of talk, and this has been predicted by Pat McAfee on the Pat McAfee show, saying that Brady would go to the Raiders because Josh McDaniels right now is coaching them. I guess.
Hi, Ray.
Coaching.
I
Yes.
just told you that last week.
Well, there you go. And I'll tell you what, Tampa Bay Ray, your thoughts on the quarterback situation. Is it Trask or is it somebody else? Is Curtis right? Mortgage the future at this juncture or hope for Derek Carr, in your opinion?
I'm going to say that if we're talking about blowing up the entire offense and you're not going to have Byron Leftwich as your offensive coordinator, just hypothesizing here, then that leaves out, the fact that I've always said that, Blaine Gabbert had the experience in this system. I still think he's a gamer. I saw Kyle Trask in the preseason. And the thing is I've posed before, I went through Jack Thompson to throw in Samoan, 5 years of Testaverde, 5 years of Trent Dilfer. I went through trading for, guys that came in here, Joe Ferguson from the Bills back in the 80s, and he was 102 years old. We got a great defense still. If we can get an offense that's not giving the ball back to the other side, which we saw in the first half versus you loved it last week. Joe Burrow had gloves on us. They're from freaking Cincinnati, and he was cold because of the dampness here at Raymond James Stadium. And our defense was locking it down, but our offense was possessing the ball, right, Harry? Running the ball and giving our defense a chance to not let the offense for the other team find their rhythm. We got a great defense. We don't have to go out and buy the world. I like Joe. I like Derek Carr, but I'm posing also that if you're bringing Derek Carr in it the year it takes him to try to learn what kind of offense you have here, we have two guys that are already in the system. Let this defense play, but figure out a way to get an offense that consistently controls the ball, and then you'll turn around. But I still think we're going to have success here in 2022.
I would love to rebuttal to exactly what Ray said because I love Ray's point. Ray, you are usually spot on with everything that you say, including the statement. But let me help you out just a little bit, brother. I don't think Todd Bowles goes anywhere. And I'm going to
No.
explain why. Because if you did bring in a Derek Carr, first off, you have a great defensive-minded coach in a Todd Bowles. Okay?
I agree.
Everybody's going to agree with that.
Mhm.
And what do defensive-minded coaches want to do, guys? They want to run the football on offense.
Run the football.
Correct. And they do have running backs. Look, I know I goof around and said Leonard Fournette's washed up. Let me tell you something. That man's still got a lot of mileage left on that tread. Those tires are still good. But we're having Rashard White. He's the future of this organization. And if you did have a Carr sitting behind center and you revamp this offensive line, you've lost nothing. You've lost nothing. You've now become a conservative football team who's going to run the football. You're going to play great defense, and you have a quarterback that could get the ball 50 yards downfield with no problems because you still have Evans, you still have Godwin, you still have Scotty Miller, you still have the core nucleus. The only thing this team needs is a couple of offensive linemen, and this team does not miss a beat. And
Bingo.
actually, it would be better. It would
Bingo.
be better than it was with Tom Brady on this team. Sorry. Hopefully, I didn't offend a whole bunch of people.
Well, and I
Who
tell
the
you
hell
right
would you
now,
offend? You're right on.
I mean, you're right on, especially with the performance on Sunday. And I get it. We want to sit here and say the offensive line isn't good. They're not. The running game hasn't been good.
623 pass attempts, guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Okay.
and
300 rushing attempts. I just let that sink in for a second.
I'll tell you right now, for me, the coach is in the building, and that's BA. If you want to switch coaches, for me, if I'm the Glazers, I would go to BA and say, look,
But
Brady's out of here. We're turning the page. You want to develop this quarterback in Blaine Gabbert, or you want to develop a Kyle Trask, or you want to go out there and get a veteran. Can he be the next head coach? Because I'm sorry, I like Todd Bowles as a defensive coordinator, but as a coach going forward, nah.
Nope.
I'm
BA,
good.
but BA's had two been in the hospital once or twice in the last year. He dealt with cancer back in 2020. He's spending 3 days a week over at the old Memorial there in Tampa, living his best life, playing golf. I know he got heated on the sidelines there in New Orleans because you can't take the fight out of the dog, right? You can take the dog out of the fight. I got to be honest with you. I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I apologize in advance. It's bullshit that Tom Brady completely 100% had something to do with Bruce Arians getting fired. I believe Bruce Arians, no, I don't believe, I know that he completely wanted to hand this. He's been with Todd Bowles since 85 when the young kid played linebacker or defensive back at Temple. He wanted a succession plan. He wanted to give this team over. He didn't need Tom Brady to push him out. I think that Tom Brady may have kind of raised it a little sooner, so Bruce Arians thought this would be a great idea. I don't think Bruce Arians can come back and coach this team. He is not at that stage in his life. I do not believe health-wise he wants to do it, and I don't think Christine Arians will let him do it.
Well, there's a reason why he's in that building for some reason.
But you know what, Ray, with all due respect, and again, I'm going to let him talk, but Bruce Arians is not the answer here, guys, because Bruce Arians, when you're taking a brand new quarterback and a Derek Carr, it's just like Tom Brady. It's going to take a little while, just like it did with the old Cincinnati quarterback that he had over in Arizona.
Carson Palmer.
Okay, he's not the answer for this football team. I'm telling you right now, the answer for this football team, and I'm not a backer of any one of the three, from Leftwich to Todd Bowles to Bruce Arians. But out of the three, let me take Todd Bowles because he's going to make sure that defense stays in place. I'm going to make sure they're going to head and run football. And now Byron Leftwich should be able to call a game plan that the quarterback's going to say, yeah, it sounds good, coach. I think I'm going to run that. Because I'm telling you right now, these plays are not being called by either one of these two. This is all Tom Brady, guys.
All right, Curtis, go ahead and finish up here. Jim, I saw that you called here, so call back. Go ahead, Curtis.
The last thing I'm going to say is Donovan Smith's got to go.
Yeah,
I think we're pretty much again we're done with. He's had his worst year, and again he's going through something personally. I don't know what it is. He's talked about it, but he's definitely regressed.
Listen, I will say this: if they have to switch him and Tristan. They have to.
Well, I certainly think that's a possibility, and you maybe.
I don't think he can play the left side, guys.
Right side. Yeah, he wouldn't go to right tackle. Wait, Tristan Wirfs?
Yeah, I don't think Tristan Wirfs can play the left side in the National Football League.
He played left side in college.
I understand that, but he's a step slow over there. There's a reason why he's on the right side. And off air, I'll go ahead and go that through there because that'll take way too long. Because I was going to bring that up a couple of weeks ago. Why aren't they making that switch when he does get back? And when I started watching and started breaking it down, he's not that fleet of foot when it comes to stopping the bull rush. He's really good with the outside maneuver tackle. And let me tell you something. Most of those left defensive ends, that's exactly what they're good at. It's not so much a swing move. It's getting right through and getting into the quarterback. He does struggle with that. That's one thing about Tristan Wirfs he struggles with is that bull rush.
My last question is Jensen out for the season?
Yeah,
Man.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
guys, did you see him? Hey, Curtis,
look, they have not put him on IR yet, but you haven't heard anything.
But he doesn't go into the end zone there last week against Cincinnati. You guys saw the tape. He went in there and did some snaps to Tom. They're not just doing that because they're trying to have sex with us and they're throwing some foreplay at us. They're letting us know that he's gonna be ready for the postseason, which is why I still pose, guys. We may playoffs. Playoffs. Huh? What? But I posed to you guys that I'm sitting here right now, 9:24 on Wednesday, December 21st, 2022. I'm still posing it to you. Not only do the Buccaneers make the playoffs, they give Dallas a game and beat Dallas, make it to the second round, and we're just shooting wind here because Todd Bowles is still here next year. But I do believe that Byron Leftwich will not be here next year because the Bucs have to go another route, and probably not Tom Brady. I'd give me Kyle Trask, bring Clyde Christensen up to the offensive coordinator position. He's been here with Trask for 2 years. He was the offensive coordinator under Tony Dungy back in 2002.
That's a good call, Ray. And Ray, right behind you over at the Irish 31.
Yeah.
An order of 10 wings, and I'd like them well done, light sauce, please.
Yes, there you go.
You got it, brother.
Thanks a lot for the call, my friend. Let me give you the Ric Flair.
Woo! Hey, Pete, can I ask Curtis one thing?
One more thing, and then we got to get
Curtis,
comments.
was that your daughter we heard earlier coming over talking to Daddy?
Listen, let me tell you something. I want to tell y'all something. She's 4 years old.
God bless.
She's 65 pounds. She's 4 foot tall. And she's
God bless. Curtis, I just wanted to tell you, grab her and your family, give her the biggest kiss and hugs, and enjoy every minute of it. And happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you, brother.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to all you guys.
We could say that here. We could say Merry Christmas.
We could say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. We could say whatever you want to here on the Evolution. Appreciate you, Curtis, as always. Yes.
Hey, Harry, we're gonna light up those Christmas trees for you, okay?
You got it, little brother. You take care of yourself. Curtis, much love, Bray. Hey, and don't do anything I wouldn't do in a town called No Place Really.
Right down the street from me right here because I'm in Holiday. Have a good night, my friend. Use that second call if you like to, all right? Good stuff there. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's get out to the comments here. Jim, I saw that you called. Call back if you like to. Peter H. Blake, thank you very much. Appreciate you. Christopher Cole, I have no hope, but just get into the tournament and anything can happen. Good stuff.
God.
Ask Jim. You get Jim. Damn it, Jim. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay. And, of course, Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire of 1252 Chicago Sports. Go.
All right, I got a question for you guys about the rest of the season.
Okay.
First question is, are we going to beat the Cardinals?
Well, you should. You got Trace McSorley starting. He's a third-string quarterback, yet another third-string quarterback. You have DeAndre Hopkins. I get it. You have James Conner, but this team is beaten up right now. They got nothing to play for. I don't even think there's going to be a lot of fans in the house. It's a Christmas game, Christmas Eve, or not Christmas Eve.
Night, yeah.
Game. So you should win it. This is a game you should win. But what do we know here, Jim? Damn it, Jim. They've lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've lost to the Carolina Panthers. They lost to fat-ass Jacoby Brissett and the Cleveland Browns. So who the hell knows who they're going to beat at this juncture?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this game are a 7.5-point favorite. Let me repeat that. They're a 7.5-point favorite on the road. And, Pete, you know how much I love home underdogs. Did I say anything about Houston the past couple of weeks?
Well,
let's think about what I'm trying to say. Yes, they're supposed to hand this team a big loss. Trust me when I say this. But you know what's really concerning? That defense over there in Arizona sucks. This total is only 40.5 points. Are you kidding me?
Because the Bucs offense stinks. That's why. Their offense stinks.
This guy sucks.
Ray, I mean, worried about that game. And Jim, go ahead and turn down your phone a little bit because I'm hearing a little bit of feedback there. But Ray, worried about the Cardinals on Sunday night?
No, in fact, and Harry made a good point. It's Christmas night. I'm not trying to put down the fans of Arizona like the Los Angeles Rams fans out there in SoFi, which basically a home game is never a home game for those Rams. But I think that you're not going to have a whole lot of Bucs fans, but we've seen this year, we've got some great Buccaneer fans traveling around this country following his team. I think finally the Buccaneer fans that traveled to Arizona for this Christmas night game, they'll finally see a game that they've been wanting to see on the road all year.
Jim, how concerned are you for the rest of the year? Do you have confidence that they can beat the Cardinals on Sunday night? Do you have confidence they can beat the Panthers and the Falcons going forward?
Oh, boy.
I think, yes, we should beat them teams.
You said the key word. See, you said the key word. We should.
Should have beat Tennessee. No, they should have beat Pittsburgh. They should have beat Cleveland. They should have beat, I don't know, almost everybody that was on their schedule this year. Bro.
Well, here you go. Here you go. You should have beat Green Bay. You lost to Green Bay
sucked.
You lost 14-12. You lose to Kansas City 41-31. Somewhat of a close game there. You lose to the great Pittsburgh Steelers. They suck.
This guy sucks.
20-18. You lose to Carolina with the third-string quarterback, an XFL quarterback, and PJ Walker, and an interim coach. 21.
Hey, be nice to PJ. PJ's.
I like PJ.
I like PJ too. I tell you what.
Baltimore,
Tampa be blessed to have him as a backup.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you, what you're going to see this week, though, is you're going to finally see, and you think I'm tongue-in-cheek, and you're going to snicker about this, you're going to finally see in 2022 a team that is 100% coached by the guy who should be coaching him, that is Todd Bowles. He's not going to feel inclined to have to give Giovanni Bernard a 4th and 1, even though they would have easily made it, because he's trying to make the offense continue to go, trying to give nuggets. He's going to make these 53 guys put their nose to the grindstone, and it may be a defensive-minded game. And Harry, that may be the reason why that over-under is at 40.5, because maybe the rest of the league also realizes that Todd Bowles is still going to let this team play to their best. But if they have to win it 10-3 and it's a defensive-minded game, you're going to get that. And Todd Bowles is finally going to get a chance to show these guys that conservative, slow and easy does win the race. The turtle was right all along.
Well, here is my prediction in the game. And I don't ever give out my predictions, but who the hell knows when I'm doing my next show? It's Christmas week, so I might as well give a couple of picks out now. Everybody ready?
Absolutely.
Okay. If you think that the Arizona Cardinals can score at least 17 points in this game, bet the over, and I'm going to tell you why. Because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time this year, will score more than 30 points.
Wow. Okay. There you go. I like it.
You didn't preface it, Harry. 10 of those points are going to come from the defense. At least one touchdown return.
I'm predicting not one, not two, 3 turnovers by the Buccaneer defense.
There you go.
We'll give that offense short fields. And yes, Peter, I hate to break this to you, they're still going to have the same imbalance attack, and everything's going to be okay back in Tampa. They're going to the Super Bowl. Brady's going to throw it 45 times. They're going to run it 20 times. That's it.
Okay. All right. Jim, anything else?
Well, y'all covered a lot. So you think it's going to surprise people in the playoffs?
No, I never said that.
No, I didn't say they're going to surprise anybody, but look, did they have an opportunity if they?
Yeah, they're going to surprise me. All right, they're going to surprise me. Say, why the hell were you even there?
You're going to surprise you.
So it's a surprise. Hey, now if you get Ryan Jensen back at center and Tristan Wirfs healthy at right tackle, now Hainsey moves to left guard. You get Gadecki as a depth piece, and you've got Leverett, and you've also got Wells. You start having an offensive line, and you've got these guys the experience they've gotten all year because of these injuries that put us behind the 8 ball. And
Great
I
point.
would say that it's not so much a surprise. It should be the team that we expected to see all along.
Great point. But Ray, there's one problem with it. They're offensive linemen, and offensive linemen need to get in what kind of shape? Football shape. And there ain't enough time in the year, especially if they come back toward the end of the year. It's not like playing defense when Vita Vea came back in for that playoff run, if you remember correctly, because they were rotating him in and out. You can't do that so much with an offensive lineman because you have to have that momentum, because you have to have that synergy.
But Harry, you're talking about Ryan Jensen. Ryan Jensen is a 9-year veteran, right? 8-year veteran, and the he's a dog.
Even
you're
more.
right. But he's not going to come in he's not going to come in with all the bumps and bruises and the concussions that he would have had all along in 2022. But if that cat's locking it down and ready to come in, as I think we get out of a veteran Ryan Jensen, one of the best centers in the entire National Football League, there'll be a little bit of a learning curve, but I still think he comes in ready to play.
I don't think it's going to be a learning curve. Ray, you're absolutely 100% correct. What I personally think it's going to be with Ryan Jensen, he's not going to be in shape. That's the whole thing. And because he's played 9 years in the National Football League, it does take a little bit of time. Let me tell you something. Ryan Jensen at 50% is still better than 2/3 of the linemen in the National
Harry,
League.
what I mean by a learning curve is that instead of having Marpet and Alex Kappa, what he has is Shaq Mason and
Oh, no, I get
Haynes
it now. I understand. I understand.
Okay.
All
Gotcha,
right.
brother.
Stand by. Jim, thanks a lot for the call. Let me give you the Ric Flair.
Woo!
Appreciate the call. Use that second call anytime, all
All
right,
right.
my friend?
All right, thank you.
All right, appreciate it. Let me go out to this guy right here, the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scott and now media member of Amped Up Sports.
Leo.
Everybody salute Leo, okay, guys? Hang on. Give me a close. Bring it in.
What are you doing here? Look at that. What,
Hi, Leo. How you doing, bud?
God, look at this. Look
Hang
at
on, hang on. Leo, how you doing, man? Everything good?
It's a day at a time, fellas. One day.
There you go, brother.
We miss you, Leo.
Yeah, we absolutely do miss you. Ed, hold on the line. I know you want to call in here. I want to get as many calls as possible, but we're going to go ahead and introduce our host. As always, Mr. Leo Haggerty, your thoughts on the disappointing loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. Welcome to the Sports Web, my friend.
Well, I don't think it was disappointing. I think it was expected. And again, Peter, I'm going to go back to the beginning of the year. And if you remember, everybody was talking 13, 14 wins. I said, they'll be lucky to get 10.
Wow.
Real lucky to get 11.
I
And it's
remember.
just the same reason that Ray and Harry were talking about. You don't lose 3 offensive linemen and expect to go 13, 14, and 2 or 3. That's not happening. So when Jensen went down, they lost Kappa, they lost Ali Marpet. Big trouble. Then when Wirtz goes down, now you got 4/5 of the offensive line as backups playing. And again, Shaq Mason, great, Leverett, great, but it takes a while to get those guys, up to speed. And I don't know what Jensen's going to have coming back. Harry, I agree with you. I don't know what this guy has because after 9 years, there's not a lot of tread left on the tire for an offensive lineman.
No. Leo, first off, I want to say, man, welcome back. You look really well.
Good to see
We're not going to get into that. God's been blessing you, brother, and we've all been praying, and everything is going to be just fine. And we love you, man.
We love you, man, and I am growing back the beard for you, my friend, because everybody has told me they're superstitious about the Bucs and their winning ways. I'm growing it back. You got one, I got one. Ray, you better get on board. And Harry, I don't know about you. Come on, man.
Bro, I haven't even hit puberty. You want me to grow a beard?
Hey, can I ask Leo?
Shut up and be quiet.
Shut up!
Go ahead,
Leo. Mike Leach. We lose Mike Leach 2 weeks ago. Of course, Mississippi State will be here in the Rely Quest Bowl there on January 2nd against the Fighting Illini of Illinois. Your thoughts on that? Have you ever had a chance to come across or cross paths with Mike Leach, or what are your thoughts?
Hold on a minute. You're putting the horse before the cart.
Are we talking about puberty?
I'm running out of battery. I wanted to talk to Leo before
Ladies and gentlemen, this guy right here will be at the Rely Quest Bowl on January 2nd at Raymond James Stadium.
Yes,
this
sir.
guy right here will also be at the Rely Quest under the Sports Web. We will all be there. Now, Leo, go ahead and respond. Congratulations, gentlemen. You deserve it. And I just want to say, I always told you that if you rolled with me on the Sports Web, that I was going to take you places. And damn it, you guys are credentialed finally. So my job is done. Now, Leo, you can go ahead.
You know what, Peter? I got the 2 Curtises joining me, Coach Al and AJ, so we'll have a nice sixsome there for a little pregame stand-up.
Sounds good.
You know what, Ray? I'm going to ask the Mississippi State head coach, and it's going to be a very tough question, and I'm going to say, if you don't want to answer it, fine. And I'm going to ask him, I said, Coach, when the pandemic hit, you didn't reach for your shelf for the binder that said how to run a Division I program during a pandemic. I'll bet there isn't a folder there that says how to deal with a head coach passing away. How hard has it been, and who have you turned to for help to get this team through to this bowl game? And again, Mike Leach was one of the characters of college football. He wanted a 14 playoff. I don't know if you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was also a developer of players. Gardner Minshew was a just a serviceable quarterback at East Carolina, transferred to Washington State, and became an NFL player.
Yep.
So he can do things, and it was so sad to see, at such a young age, for that to happen. And my heart and prayers go out to the Leach family and to Mississippi State. And Mike, rest in peace.
Yeah, tell me about it,
Leo. I would pose that. What it did is, and it was a sad thing to lose such a dynamic coach, going back to Texas Tech, following him around the country, Washington. But I think that only emphasizes for me, and I hope that we are able to do that with our coverage of the ReliaQuest Bowl that we're going to be bringing to you all out there on January 2nd, is you got to look, sometimes it's not just the game in the game. It's a January 2nd. It's the ReliaQuest Bowl. It's a bowl game. You also got to look at the characters, the depth of the coaches, the players. You don't know who will be down the road playing in the National Football League or who may be president of the United States 30 years down the road. But I think it's one of the dynamic things about a bowl game like the ReliaQuest Bowl between Mississippi State and the Fighting Illini. And that's what I'm hoping that we're able to bring to people who will be following us as we cover that game here in Tampa.
I got to go out to Mr. Greek here really quick, and then we got to get rid of Ray here because I know his battery is running down. But how excited are you to be a credentialed member of the media, be at Raymond James Stadium, covering your home team, the Fighting Illini versus Miss State?
Well, you know what? I got to tell you, man, I'm very excited about it because I've never been credentialed for anything. Why would they want to credential the Greek? I'm a prognosticator, guys. Here, let me do an interview with somebody. Can you believe you guys were a pick them in this game? I mean, why weren't you the favorite? What kind of questions is the Greek going to ask somebody there? Oh, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, Illinois has never been involved in a game this year where the total's been over 47. Bet the under. They got a great defense. I couldn't tell you which side's going to win, but I do like the under.
Listen to this guy. He's already working already. Let's go back out to Leo Haggerty. I mean,
Leo?
How surprised, Leo, really quick. You can answer that question here when I go to this one. But how surprised were you on Brady's performance? 4 turnovers in that third quarter, just disappointing. I mean, you don't expect that from a 45, 46-year-old quarterback, right?
No, you expect it from a 45, 46-year-old quarterback. Peter, I've said this. When quarterbacks go south, they go south in a hurry. We have no idea what happens to a 45, 46-year-old quarterback when he goes south. And it looks like that Brady is genuinely not interested in what's going on. And that's what bothers me. It's like, ho-hum, we're okay. We're going to win the South, and then we're going to win the Super Bowl. I tell you what, teams are salivating to play the Bucs in the playoffs. I mean, Dallas can't wait to get here. And then if the chalk prevails, as Harry would say, then you got to go to Philly. And believe me, Philly will be waiting with open arms.
Well, I tell you right now, let's talk about Philly. And we're on with the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former coach, scouting out, media member of Night Sports Productions, Amped Up Sports. We had to let Ray go. So thanks a lot for the time, Ray. And, of course, Harry, the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire, 1252 Chicago Sports. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. The big story to come out, Jalen Hurts looks like he hurt his shoulder versus the Chicago Bears, may not play versus the Dallas Cowboys. Harry, if you're the Eagles, are you playing this guy? Because right now, he is the focal point of your offense, and honestly, he could be the MVP of the league. Are you taking a chance, in your opinion, Harry? And how is that line looking right now versus the Cowboys if Hurts plays or doesn't?
Well, you know what? That's a great question, but I will tell you this. I don't know if people knew this or not, but the Philadelphia Eagles had the easiest schedule in the National Football League. But nobody's talking about that. They're talking about how great they are, and they're going to the Super Bowl. Look, man, if I were the Eagles, you need to sit this guy because he's your only hope if you're going to make it through the playoffs. Period.
Okay. All right, good stuff.
If he's able to suit up and play, he better play. Otherwise, this team's in trouble.
You know what, guys? Memo to Nick Sirianno. Stop having Hurts run the frickin' football. He's taken way too many hits. And again, it was an unnecessary run in the Bears game. Game was over. I mean, just turn around, give it to Miles Sanders. That's all you need to do.
That's all. Just hand the ball up, but they just wanted to continue to do it.
I mean, for me, I think Hurts, and you can agree with this, guys, that he's gotten better in the pocket, much like I think Justin Fields needs to do that. And they have the similar type of numbers from last year. If you look at those numbers with Fields and Hurts, Same
Tell you
type of
something.
quarterback at the end of the day. And I almost
Justin Fields will be a better quarterback than a Jalen Hurts. I can assure you of that because let me tell you something. Jalen Hurts in college was a running quarterback that could throw. Okay. Justin Fields in college was a pocket passer that could run. Wait till they get some receivers and they spend that $150 million that they have in cap space and revamp that offensive line, which doesn't need as much as what people think. And then you're going to tell me a little something, what's going on in that city of Chicago. Let me tell you something. That's not even a fair comparison. And everybody knew that I was not a Justin Fields fan until I started breaking this kid down a little bit. He's going to be just fine.
Justin Fields, and Jalen Hurts. Comparison, what do you say?
Hey, you know what, guys? Until Fields gets some weapons around it, it's an unfair comparison. Because look what the Eagles did. They brought in A.J. Brown. They drafted Smith. And you know what, guys? What two things can't you coach? Size and speed. And speed
kills, baby. Speed kills.
So what the Eagles have is an offensive line. And here's the comparison with the Bucs. The Eagles line can protect Hurts for the 5 and 7 step drop. The Bucs offensive line can't do that. Also, if the protection breaks down, Hurts has escapability. Brady, it's hit the ground. And again, look at the teams that are in the playoff picture. They all have multiple quarterbacks who can throw it and can run with it. That's the problem right now with the Bucs, is they just do not have that mobile quarterback that they need because their offensive line is in shambles.
That's a great point. And, Leo, I'm going to go ahead and piggyback on that. It's kind of a little bit of a funny, and you might even get a kick out of it. I called this offense that the Buccaneers have been running called the Chuck and Duck, but it's not the Chuck and Duck anymore. It's Chuck and then Duck. Get it? It's Chuck, not Chuck and Duck. It's Chuck or Duck. It's Chuck or Duck.
That's
You're absolutely correct. But you know what?
You know what, Harry?
Yes, sir.
Defensive coordinators have figured this out. They're pushing their corners and they're pushing their safeties up the field, daring Brady to throw long. I don't know what the problem is with Mike Evans, but they are definitely not on the same
I'm
page.
glad you asked that.
Go ahead.
Would you like me to tell you what I have seen? Because I break a lot of tape down, correct?
Well, I want you to get back to that in a moment, but I want to mention this really quick, and this is a point of emphasis for this show and for myself.
Yes, sir.
Overall, the Buccaneers used play action against the Bengals in the first half, 28.9 of Brady's dropbacks, their second highest percentage of the season, according to NFL Next Gen Stats. They used play action 31% of the time in their Week 10 win over the Seattle Seahawks in Munich. For the season, the Buccaneers play action rate is 16.2%. For me, it works.
It's too low.
Away from it in the second half. Now you can go ahead and break down Evans, but the play action thing for me is important.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and piggyback on both of them. First with you, Peter. First off, they've only done it 2 or 3 different times. They did it in Cincinnati, they did it in Seattle, and they did it in Week 1. Week 1. And by the way, Week 1 was their statement game of the year. And unfortunately, Tom Brady didn't like it. It happened again in Week 2, and then after that, the wheels fall apart because now they wanted to throw the ball a hell of a lot more than they were running it. Up to date for this year only, 623 pass attempts, 311 run attempts. That's not going to win anywhere. That's why I don't call it the Chuck and Duck. It's Chuck or Duck because you've got an immobile quarterback. And you know what? As far as Mike Evans is concerned, I'm going to tell you what the problem's been with Mike Evans because I couldn't figure it out either because everybody was like getting ready to jump off the Skyway Bridge thinking that this team was completely done. Oh, Brady's lost his arm. Oh, Mike Evans can't catch a pass anymore. Oh, this, oh, that. The problem is they're not respecting the run game at all with this football team. And I'll tell you why and what I've noticed. Every time they go to run the ball or they show a play action, the DBs and the safeties are not even peeking into the backfield. They are lining a corner right up on the line of scrimmage. They're playing a safety right over top, which is a double coverage. And now you have the outside linebacker and or the left defensive end, when the ball is snapped, leaning in to take away the inside slant. And that's why Godwin was 8 for 8 and 12 for 12, because of the fact that they weren't double teaming them, they were triple teaming them. Now, this pass game, They did not sway all that protection over to Mike Evans. They were playing a base defense, and that's why Tampa had so much success, and that's why Cincinnati had to respect the play action. But smart teams that play this team, they know that the ball's going to Mike Evans, and that's when you run the double coverage and you run the inside protection, trying to shadow everything over the top of Mike.
Leo.
Sir.
Yes, I mean your thoughts on this pass play action. Why don't they run it more? And Evans, why is he more involved in this offense? In the first half against the Bengals, he was. In the second half, they forget about him. It's much like Devontae Adams with the Raiders. You give him the ball the first half, and then you forget about him the second. Make some sense of it.
Peter, I can't. That's the problem. I would really like to know, and I wish one of the reporters would ask Todd Bowles or Byron Leftwich, how much is Brady audibling?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how much is the play being changed by the quarterback? Because again, they can be sending in a play action run, and Brady can change it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'd want to know. Harry, you're right. Their pass to run ratio is so out of proportion, it's not even funny.
Yeah, because no one respects the run game anymore, Leo, and that's why they're not doing it. And again, I am going to beat this drum until the cows come home. Game 1 and Game 2, the offensive game plan was coming from a defensive-minded head coach.
Yes.
They were going to run the football, and they were going to play balanced football, and that's when they played best.
Harry, that's what you said at the beginning of the year, that Todd Bowles will make them run the football.
And then in week 3, what happened? There was no more. This is why I'm thoroughly convinced that Tom Brady is the culprit here. He's already had your head coach fired. Let's call it what it is.
Mm-hmm.
He's already had a head coach fired, and now nobody knows how to control Tom Brady. Let's analyze it again. Hey, preseason, he missed 2 weeks. Everybody's like, well, that's no big deal. It's the GOAT. He's not going to play anyway. No, man, he's the field general. He's your leader. You need to be there. And then in the middle of the season, you're going to go hang out with your old boss the day before you're supposed to do a walkthrough and go to a wedding? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you doing?
It's
I'm not going to sit here.
Right.
And I'm not trying to be a Tom Brady hater, but someone needs to get, pardon my expression, someone really needs to shake his shit up a little bit and get his ass in check and make sure he follows just like anybody else in the National Football League, because there's no one player in the National Football League that is bigger than the entire team. And Tom, if it ever gets back to you, I said that. You are not bigger than the football team. You need to fall in line. You are a piece to the entire puzzle.
Leo?
Granted a big piece, but still a piece.
Without question. He's a big piece, but he does not need to be calling every single play. And I refuse to believe that these plays are coming from Byron Leftwich, because this is not the way a defensive-minded coach is going to coach this football team.
True. All right, I want to go out to Joe Bucs fan really quick, and then we'll finish.
Pardon my French. I don't like to talk like that on the air, but I get really passionate about things like that, because it's just a shame what happened. Because look, I've never been a big Bruce Arians fan either, and people know that. Okay, but the reality is this: with this offensive line the way it is, if Bruce Arians was coaching this team, they wouldn't even have 300 rushing attempts, and they'd probably lose 2 less games.
I'm not sure, because, again, he holds these players accountable, but agree to disagree. Let me go out to Joe Banner here in care of Joe Bucs fan. He writes for the 33rd team. He says about Todd Bowles, the impact of a head coach has on the offense can be underestimated. Core team philosophy impacts play calls coordinators end up making. Fans rarely see how much coordinators are affected by the head coach in charge. You watch coordinators move from team to team, and they have completely different results. In the Buccaneers case, they have the same offensive cast from last year, yet we're witnessing a completely different strategy in terms of play calling. That's likely because Bowles is dictating to offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich. He likes running the ball on first down to get to a reasonable down and distances on second and third down. Leftwich's job is to get that done. That's what coordinators do. Your thoughts? Here. Well, I'll go Leo first. Leo.
What's wrong with that? I mean, run the football. If you get 4 yards, you're ahead of the sticks. That's all that matters. Plus, if you throw the ball, you're not playing the clock. And the Bucs need to cut possessions down for the other team, because with Vita Vea out, that's a huge piece of that rushing defense. And look at what happened last week. I mean, yeah, there were 4 short fields, but Cincinnati took advantage of all of them. And of all people, Wilcox, the former USF tight end, just the last score. Wasn't that great?
It was absolutely great to make it 34-17 at the time. You're exactly right. Former USF tight end. I mean, Harry, your thoughts on these comments, because this is my big problem and my big point of contention with Todd Bowles. This is the reason why general managers and owners alike don't hire defensive-minded coaches, because, yes, we're talking about running the ball, but you're more conservative. And for me, the proof is in the pudding just a couple weeks ago when you're saying, I'm not going to put the ball in my playmaker's hands in Tom Brady because I'm scared he's going to throw an interception. That's a problem for me.
Pete, your best coaches of all time have always been defensive-minded coaches. Because let me, FYI, I don't care what anybody says, defense wins championships. Offenses, and I'll go back to the Super Bowl, because Tom Brady didn't throw for 200 yards, and it was priceless. I have that picture. Tom Brady's on the sideline doing this, watching the defense chasing Patrick Mahomes backwards on every single possession. But to answer your question, you're right. I don't think Todd Bowles would have a problem if they were passing the ball on first down, as long as they were just little screen passes coming out of the backfield, being an extension of Tom Brady's run game. But that's not the case. They're not even running play action. But the first semblance of what that offense should really look like, Pete, is exactly what you've seen in week 1, week 2, Seattle, and against Cincinnati into the first half. That was a semblance what this offense was supposed to look like. They just haven't been running it that way. And primarily reason for that is because they're banged up on that offensive line. They're decimated, absolutely decimated.
Well, and in Leo, there was a report from Mike Silver about a week ago that Tom Brady, the night before, sits down with his skilled position players and goes over things that the coaching staff doesn't know anything about until game day. Do you think that's the reason why this offense has struggled this year? Going back to it, 17 points a game from last year's 30, not having that red zone difficulty, and then on top of it, being able to have those plays 20 yards or more.
Well, if you can't protect them, there's no sense running them. And that's the thing. You know, Brady's one hit away from done. And that's the problem you got right now.
Mm-hmm.
You got to keep him upright. And to keep him upright, there's got to be a threat of the run. And right now, everybody knows Brady wants to throw it 40 times and run it maybe 15 or 20.
Yeah.
So they're playing pass, and it can't do that in the National Football League, because those guys on defense, they're getting paid, and they're pretty good. But, Peter, here's the funny part. Bucs 6-8, everybody else 5-9. It's a sprint the last 4 games. It's going to be crazy these last 3 games going down the stretch to see who's going to be able to beat who. And again, if the Saints didn't gift wrap that game, boy, it'd have been interesting right now, wouldn't it?
It would be absolutely interesting. We're on with the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty. And, of course, we got Harry, the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire, 1252 Chicago Sports. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about really quick. Your thoughts on Mr. Franco Harris today and the passing, 72 years old, former Pittsburgh Steeler, great running back, Hall of Famer, and just a couple days away from the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. Your thoughts, Mr. Leo?
Peter, I have some interesting thoughts, because Franco and I played against each other in high school.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah, he went to Rancocas Valley High School, and I went to JFK. I can remember in a film session, Rancocas is playing Cinnamon. Franco takes a dive from his own 1-yard line and goes 99 yards. 11 guys had a shot at him, couldn't take him down. I turned to our defensive back coach, and I say, Coach Mailer, how are we going to stop that? He goes, we're not. But we beat Franco. He beat us to death his junior year. We beat him his senior year because he was hurt. He had a bad ankle.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Junior year, they went 9-0. Senior year, we went 9-0. It was the game of the week. It was the game of the year every time. There was 18,000 people there. It was just crazy for high school. But what a nice guy. I got to know him through Billy Adams, a teammate. I rode the bus with him out in San Diego when the Bucs played in the Super Bowl. Nicest guy in the world. It's a shame that he had to go so fast, but what a great player, what a great person. Rest in peace, Franco.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
really.
Harry, your thoughts on Mr. Franco Harris?
It's a sad day in the National Football League. It just, there's one thing I can honestly say: God is undefeated. Nobody's ever going to outlive Father Time. When it's your time, it's your time. I just hope he was in the right place at the right time, and I hope he has his heart right.
And
as
just
far as
hours before, he was doing an interview with Chris Russo, Mad Dog, saying he felt fine, and yeah.
You just never know when you're going to go.
Yeah.
You're never, ever going to go. The NFL is less without Franco Harris than they are with him.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's a shame what happened. And may he rest in peace. But it still wasn't a catch.
Yeah. and praying for a defensive-minded coach in Chuck Noll, correct?
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Well,
absolutely.
I want to go out to Art Rooney II here. He says it's difficult to find the appropriate words to describe Franco Harris and the impact on the Pittsburgh Steelers, his teammates, the city of Pittsburgh, and Steelers Nation. From his rookie season, which included the Immaculate Reception, through the next 50 years, Franco brought joy to people on and off the field. He never stopped giving back in so many ways. He touched so many. He was loved by so many. Our thoughts and prayers are with his wife, Dana, his son, Doc, and his extended family at this difficult time. So it will definitely be a sombering moment, if you will, because I know NFL Network was getting excited about it. Of course, the Raiders and Steelers. I got to ask you really quick, because I know Harry and Leo, you got to get out of here in a little bit, but your thoughts on what happened with the Patriots and the Raiders. I mean, what is that guy doing? Throwing the ball back to Chandler Jones here, Leo?
I think he was throwing it back to the quarterback and never saw Chandler Jones. But what are they even doing trying that play? Take a knee, go to overtime, and give yourself a shot. The clock had already run out. So that made absolutely no sense. And for a Bill Belichick team to do that is totally out of character.
Does anything surprise you when it comes to the Patriots versus the Raiders? Honestly,
no,
really?
No.
I mean, there's always going to be some. It could have been some kind of retribution for, the Tuck rule.
Right.
Well, the Raiders.
Real quick, let me jump in on that. When that happened, I said right away, they're going to call the Tuck rule. I don't think it was, but that's what they're going to call. Walt Anderson calls it. He did not do a Raiders game since that one. That's amazing.
That is amazing. Absolutely great stuff there. Harry, you got to run. Leo, you got to run. So I tell you what, Leo, go ahead and promote yourself really quick, and then we'll get out to Harry.
Yeah, go to Amped Up Sports. Again, I have not been able to post since September 23rd. Well, September 22nd. But there'll be stuff coming. We got Army-Navy photos up. Amazing. We had 8 guys in an Army-Navy, 5 press and 3 photos. So Army-Navy takes care of us, and so just like the ReliaQuest Bowl, they take care of us. So hopefully I'll be able to make it on next week, Peter, and Merry Christmas to all.
Merry Christmas to you, legend. Mr. Leo Haggerty right there. Appreciate you, my friend. We'll see you next week, all right?
Take care, buddy.
All right, good stuff there, Mr. Leo Haggerty, the legend himself, former coach, scout, and now media member of Night Sports Productions, Amped Up Sports. We got you covered here on Amped Up Sports on the Sports Web. Mr. Harry the Greek, go ahead and promote yourself.
It's really simple. You can catch me right here on the Sports Web, also on Amped Up Sports, any evening as being Peter Blake's co-host, or you want the best sporting lines, you want the best handicapping picks, make sure you catch us on 1252 Sports, my show, The Over Under, where I'm your host, Harry the Greek, along with Mr. Peter Blake and Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. And I'll tell you what, we're on a little bit of a roll.
We are on a little bit of a roll, but I need to get on a roll here. I need to make some money.
Here comes the money.
I need to make some money, all right?
And what does the Greek always say?
Yes.
It's not the three thing, it's the two things. Keep your bets low and your returns high. I'm Harry the Greek. We love you, everybody. Have a good night.
Good stuff. Harry the Greek right there, professional handicapper extraordinary. Tell you what, let's go ahead and take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll read the comments. And then we'll take your phone calls, and we'll also get on to our wrestling segment with WWE, AEW, with, of course, Mark Mancini of Mancini Media of XM Sirius Radio, and, of course, the bodyguard of the Berg, Pittsburgh's Forgotten Son, Mr. Ralph Williams. Keep it locked here on The Evolution.
uwager.lv, sportsbook, and casino. Sign up today at uwager.lv, the premier online sportsbook, taking wagers since 1998. The most player-friendly lines, weekly juice specials, and a true dime line in MLB. Unique casino platforms with thousands of games. Play poker, high stakes, low stakes, or tournament play. uwager.lv, what we offer. Free same-day payouts. Customer service and wagering support, 24/7, year-round. Free monthly rebates on your action and daily casino rebates. Contests, free bets, best bonuses, and giveaways. Generous referral program. Get an 80% free play bonus on your first deposit, up to $1,000. Sign up today, and use promo code SPORTSWEB. Remember, you can't win if you don't play.
There you go. Welcome back to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Again, uwager.lv, promo code SportsWeb. Whether you're wagering on the NFL, NBA, NHL, get out there, uwager.lv, promo code SportsWeb. And then, of course, this segment is brought to you by Spring Hill Trailer and Equipment Repairs. They repair all types of trailers. Give them a call at 985-570-7269. That's Spring Hill Trailer and Equipment Repairs. Let's get out to the phone lines. Dave, welcome back to the Evolution using your second call. What do you have to say, my friend?
Well, unfortunately, I've been listening to what you talk about, but I would like to talk more about freaking Tom Brady. Is what is going on with him this year, for real? I mean,
I think it's listen. I understand you're frustrated, but let's try not to use the F word on the show. I get it. You're frustrated. That's okay. It's privilege language and everything like that. I get that. I understand it. We always say three things: bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. With that being said, Brady is getting up there in age, and has the offensive line helped him out? Absolutely not. Has the fact of the play calling helped him out? Absolutely not. Has the injury situation for his wide receivers and tight ends? I mean, again, you lose Gronkowski, you lose Antonio Brown. Those are major losses, especially with the Gronkowski. I still feel like BA being the coach and being the offensive general and having the accountability factor where he's going to hold these players accountable to know their jobs and do their jobs correctly has also hurt Tom Brady, even though they don't necessarily like each other, it seems like, because that's the reason why BA went into the front office. I still contend that Brady needs that friction. He needs somebody telling him, this is not right. We need to do something different. I think that's probably one of the biggest keys to this season and the reason why he struggled, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, definitely something. I thought Todd Bowles. I mean, I didn't really watch him when he was with the Jets. I thought he would be a better coach. I see some of his interviews, and it's like he doesn't know what to say sometimes, and they catch him. Like,
I mean, what do you say? I mean, what did you think about the fake punt situation? To me, that's an atrocious call. It shouldn't be called at the end of the day.
To me, it happened so fast. I thought they just fumbled the freaking, like with the snap. It happened so fast to me, I didn't realize it was a fake punt until like later. I don't know if I just missed a half a second of it, or when I seen it on the jumbotron at the game, I was right. Like, I thought it was just a missed freaking snap.
Looked like a missed assignment, right? That's what I thought too. Yeah. So
it was kind of ridiculous. I thought for sure that they would have went for it on 4th and 1, because when you have a running back like Leonard Fournette, or even the new guy, Randall, whatever his name is. I mean, he almost every play gets at least 1 or 2 yards. So why not give it to a guy that can definitely, juke and drive and make guys miss, and maybe he gets a freaking 20-yard game, but maybe he just gets 3, or maybe he just gets 1. It just gets enough. But it's with that type of offense, we should be able to get at least 1 freaking yard on 4th and 1.
Yeah,
I could see.
I agree. I mean, again, if you're going to go for it, go with it. Go for it with Brady on the field and your offense on the field instead of trying something cute at the 34-yard line. Punt the ball, give your defense the opportunity, which the defense in that first half was doing a hell of a job shutting down Joe Burrow and that explosive offense. I don't really get the call. I know there's people out there, analytically, it's the right call. I don't care about analytics, okay?
Yeah.
Because when you're dealing with this team and they talk about analytics and all this other nonsense that hasn't worked all year long, do what works. At the end of the day, your defense is doing what they need to do. Go with that instead of getting cute. And at the end of the day, it cost them a field goal and it cost them the momentum of the game. It did.
Yeah, and like Ray was saying earlier, why would they go for a 55-yard field goal when they could have at least
well, they did that 2 weeks ago against the 49ers. It made no sense at all. They went with a 51-yard field goal. That's kind of in Succup's range, but we know with Succup being the kicker of this team, his forte is not kicking the ball long, okay? That's not his forte. His forte is being accurate from 40 yards. That's the reason why Matt Gay isn't on this team, who, by the way, has done a pretty damn good job of winning a Super Bowl with the Rams and has become a Pro Bowl kicker. But at the end of the day, the reason why you get a Succup is because when you have those 40-yard field goals, you want to be accurate. Now, as far as going 50 yards or, back further than that, that's where the weakness comes through. Dave, I got to let you go. Thanks a lot for the call, my friend. Let me give you the Macho Man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. 0391. Let's get out to these comments, and then we will get out to our wrestling segment, or we will hold up and get out to the phone lines. Let's go out to Mr. Ed here from Palm Harbor. Welcome to the Evolution. Your thoughts on the Bucs' disappointing loss on Sunday? Go.
That was last week. Let's talk about the next couple of games here.
Okay.
What happened last week? We just go ahead and put it behind us and put it in the box of do not do again thing.
Do not do again. Do not touch. Right.
Do not touch. Yeah.
Okay.
And just throw it away, maybe.
Throw it away.
I honestly, I'm going to call this game 20-3 Bucs.
20-3. Why do you think that?
I think the defense is going to do a good job, and I think the Bucs are going to run that motion offense that they were running in the first half, and they're going to run it the whole game instead of. And I don't know why they got out of it in the second half, but that was one of the keys that probably caused them to lose the game.
Right.
And they just need to keep going with what works, and not do what don't work. And I've seen him do like some trick plays and some fake punts, and none of them really work. So just stay away from that, especially if your defense is playing good. You don't need to do it anyways. Todd Bowles is supposedly this defensive head coach, but he's doing things that hurts his defense by giving up field position. He should never do that. Not ever.
Well, and if he has some type of, and you would think that he has some type of influence in calling the offense and the way the offense is ran, if he's being ultra conservative, he's absolutely hurting his defense at the end of the day because they're not able to sustain drives. They're not able to convert more than 3rd and 10. They're not able to convert in the red zone, and that's hurting your defense because your defense for the majority of the year has been on the field, and that is the problem.
Absolutely.
All right, what else?
Absolutely. Next thing is that I know a lot of people don't think Brady's going to be here next year. He's either going to be with the Bucs or he's going to retire. Those are the two things that are going to happen.
So you don't see him going to another team. You don't see him going to the 49ers or the Raiders.
The Buccaneers are going to take a $35 million cap hit. No.
Okay. All right.
I mean, why would you let that happen? That's just stupid. They're going to have to
sign him.
Well,
it may not be under their control because he's a free agent. So they're going to have to talk it out, and we'll see how they finish off the season. I think that's going to be a big part of it because if they do finish off the season where they make the playoffs and they win their division, and who knows, maybe surprise the Dallas Cowboys because that's what it's looking like right now in the first round. Who knows? Maybe go a little further.
If they get Ryan Jensen back, I'm not worried about the Dallas Cowboys. The Bucs will beat them.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Ed. What else?
The other thing is that I think as far as the coaching staff's concerned, I think they're all gone.
All gone. That's it.
Yeah.
Even if they make the playoffs and win the division, they're all gone.
I think the only thing that'll save their job is if they win a Super Bowl, which we all know that's not going to happen.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Let me go ahead and give you the Macho Man.
yeah.
Appreciate the call, my friend. All right. Use that second one.
thanks.
All right. Good stuff. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's read the comments, and then we'll get out to our wrestling segment here. Troy, where you at? Drive-through slammed. Roger Shoe, Kyle Trask in 2023. Evening, y'all. Evening to you. Let's go out to Kevin again. Somebody else, I think Kyle, and I think that's what going back to the quarterback situation. Could it be Trask? Could it be Blaine Gabbert? Could it be Brady next year? Again, we shall see. The phone lines are filled up tonight, so I'm not going to complain. Let's go out to Mr. Jim. Damn it, Jim. Using your second call. Welcome to the Evolution. What do you have to say?
Peter Blake, I just wanted to talk about Tom Brady. We ain't gonna sit here and talk and sit here and act like Tom Brady ain't been a part of this problem.
No, not at all. And you know me. I've said this throughout the whole season. He's definitely a part of the problem. He's taken accountability for it. He's not playing at his best level. And when you turn over the ball 4 times like he did the other day, you're not going to win games, no matter if the greatest of all time or, you're a rookie quarterback. And just turn down your phone just a little bit there, Jim.
Okay, I got it.
All
Is
right.
that better?
Yeah, that's definitely a lot better. But at the end of the day, yes, absolutely. Tom Brady is accountable, but everybody else on this team is also accountable. Is he playing at the high level he has the last couple of years? No, he has not. And it is shown on offense. And it's the reason why the offense has struggled, but also the offensive line with all the changes in the offseason, with the injuries during the season, with Ryan Jensen and the young guys in there not being able to produce consistently, that has also played a big-time part in it.
Yeah, you're right. But just like your boy Leo Haggerty said, he a big piece of the puzzle.
Oh yeah,
and he's not doing what he's supposed to do. When he came to this team, he did exactly what he was supposed to do.
Right.
And he did everything correct and earned him a Super Bowl. He need to do what he always do and get in focus. I mean, he still got time.
Sure.
Ain't like we out of it all the way. So if he could focus and let the coaches help him coach, because I think these people keep saying, he changing plays and stuff. I think it's a little truth to that.
Well, I definitely think there's some truth to that. And if he is changing plays and he is doing it before the night before, with his skilled position players, that's a problem. I think that's the reason why this team doesn't have an identity. And I think that's what you're missing from Bruce Arians at the end of the day. You need him to be your coach because he provides that no risk it, no biscuit. And he also says to Tom Brady and everybody else on the offensive coaching staff, look, this is not going to work. This is not working, in my opinion. That's what I believe they're missing this year. And if I'm the Bucs general manager, Jason Light, and I feel like Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich are not getting done, I go to BA and say, listen, you want to come back and coach? If you don't want to have Brady as your quarterback, go with somebody else at the end of the day. But do you want to come back and coach? Because if you don't, you're cleaning house. You're going with a new coach at the end of the day, and you're resetting this. It's going to be rebuild mode all over again.
Do you think if they blow it up, they're going to get rid of the general manager too?
It's a great question. I don't know about that. Depends. I think Jason Light has done a great job, but does he deserve some criticism for this team this year? Certainly. But you didn't think that Ali Marpet was going to retire. You didn't think Ryan Jensen before the season was, going to get hurt. You drafted Luke Gedeke. He's been disappointing. He's a rookie. It's tough for offensive linemen to transition. So to answer your question, I think Jason Light has done enough as a general manager to earn the confidence of the Glazers going forward.
What happened to Bruce Arians and being an assaultant?
Well, he's not an assaultant, and he's not assaulting anybody. I know he would like to assault somebody with the offensive numbers the Bucs have put up this year, but he's an assistant, and he's also a consultant. And that's the reason why I think he's still in that, that coaching prowess, if you will, that coaching is still on his mind, that he still has that itch at the end of the day. And if he still has that itch, then itch it, scratch it. And I think the Glazers will give him back the job. Just my opinion.
I think ever since that, what was it, the game in when we played the Saints the first time, and something happened, and he was all over the news.
Well, he was on the sidelines, and he got into it with the player, Marshawn Lattimore, and then of course Mike Evans came, defended him and Brady, and of course there was, some controversy at the end of the day. I don't know. I mean, again, he wants to be a part of the action. Some people say, go sit in the press box. The Bucs organization, they know what they're doing. Is it a good optic? I guess it's not a good optic if you're just a consultant, especially with, jawing with another player, but that's BA. That's what BA is going to give you.
All right.
Anything else?
And, man, I hope Tom Brady can get it together and do another surprise a whole lot of people in the playoffs.
Well, me too, because right now, if you're asking for a Christmas gift, it would be, for the Bucs to go on a run here, make the playoffs, run the table, and win a Super Bowl. Damn it, Jim. That's what you want to do. But right
Tom
now,
Brady and the Bucs.
Yeah, all we got right now is coal in the stocking. Great stuff as always. Merry Christmas, my friend. All right?
All right, you too.
All right, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Happy holidays right there. Jim from Ohio, open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. You see my little advertisement over there, no quarter given on the buckpower.com network. Go and check out. For all your Buccaneer needs, go to buckpower.com for the history of players and who was there and all kinds of games. Paul Stewart does a phenomenal job. And also check out the No Quarter Given podcast with yours truly, along with Jason Powers on Sports podcast, as we always break down the Bucs game from the week before and also talk about the history of the opponent. Did I see that right here? And the Magic won again over Houston, 116-110. So that team stays hot. So we'll see if that team can continue to win some games, because they're starting to really shake up some things in the National Basketball Association. All right, let's go back out to the comments here. Kevin Sloan says somebody else, I think. So that would be quarterback. We shall see what happens. Kyle says Brady goes one of three teams: Seattle, the Niners, or the Raiders. Don't see Brady going back to New England, and he ain't staying here. I don't see the Niners. I don't see Seattle, and I don't see the Raiders. If it does happen with the Raiders, it's because Gronk comes back and he wants to play for Josh McDaniels. But understand this, the reason why Brady chose the Bucs in the first place is so he could be closer to his kids over on the East Coast. So if there's a place he could go back to, I think it's New England. Just saying. All right, let me go out to Kevin here. We don't have an OL for them. Absolutely not. I think we need a mobile quarterback as well, especially if your offensive line is full of guys that are, basically turnstiles. Yes. And if you have Donovan Smith, who's been absolutely awful this year as a turnstile, you need a mobile quarterback. But even a mobile quarterback behind this offensive line, eventually that quarterback's going to get killed. Ask Fields in Chicago, ask Hurts. There's a reason why teams, yes, you want a mobile quarterback, but you want a quarterback that can throw from the pocket consistently. Not just somebody that's mobile, can run all around the place, because you set yourself up for injury, in my opinion. Kevin says that's the conservative play calling. Kevin, again, right? The O-line injuries hurt the team. Kevin, Bowles don't have the emotion as a head coach and be a manager of the whole team. Alex says, I'll go ahead and state after the season we have to move on from Brady. Yes, we won. He won us a Super Bowl, but I'd rather have us move forward, even though it won't be pretty for 1 or 2 years. Great comment. Yes! And I know, because we've been Bucs fans for a long time, haven't we, webheads here on the Sports Web? And we've seen the bad times, we've seen the good times, and we also experienced the ugly times. And the ugly times could be coming once again. But you know what? We'll be here together dealing with the wins and the losses, of course. Now, we got our two guys in there. We'll get them on here in just a moment. No, I'll pass on that, Greek. Kevin again, no, don't believe that. Kevin says respectfully. Kevin again, yeah, Donovan has regressed a lot. Troy, no one was finishing some paperwork from the cells. Oh, would you shut up?
Shut up!
You don't work with us. Hello, Peter. Hello, Harry. Hello, brother, dude. They say I'm a troll. They say I'm a moron, but I'm a saint compared to Jenna Lane. I'm not going to touch that at all. I don't know why you're bringing up Jenna Lane's name in this. She's just trying to do her job. And anybody who said she wasn't trying to do her job, that she was harassing Gio Bernard, I don't know. I don't know what you're looking at. At the end of the day, it's a tough job to be a journalist. I've worked with her before. First radio show was with her. She's trying to do the best that she can. Stop with the criticism. Stop with the stupid comments.
This guy sucks.
Brother, I'm at Bell's right in front of you. Okay. Well, I'm glad you don't like the beard, but I'm most likely growing it back. So tough on you. Great to see Leo Haggerty, says Ralph. I will be at home for the ReliaQuest Bowl. Thank you, Ralph. We'll get you on here in a moment. Do you think Levante David will stop being a ghost and start making some plays? He did make some plays, but he had a critical penalty that nullified a big-time sack, which would have given that offense the ball back at midfield. Unfortunately, was called for holding on Jamar Chase. Fields is a good quarterback for a running back. Enough of you.
Shut up!
Funny, Troy. I love it. Christopher Cole says, got to scheme Evans open. Great comment right there.
Yeah.
Let's go out to Reginald. So TB12 is calling run play on every first down. I don't believe that. It may be Todd Bowles, but whoever's calling a run play on first down and you're only getting 2 to 3 yards, it's not working. It's not working.
How about no?
It's not working.
This guy sucks.
So stop doing it if it doesn't work. Because guess what? Defensive coordinators know that it's not going to work, and they're going to game plan for it. And defenses are not going to respect your running game at the end of the day if you're only getting 2 or 3 yards. Go pass play action, change it up a little bit, and stop being, so predictable. Goodness gracious, how predictable is this offense this year? How bad is this offense this year? I mean, it's so disappointing. It is so disappointing to watch the Bucs on offense after the last 2 years. And call me spoiled or not, but do you not have 2 of the premier wide receivers in the National Football League in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin? Hello? Do you not got Julio Jones? Do you not have Cade Otton? Do you not have Leonard Fournette and Rashard White? Find a way to get your playmakers the ball or get out. Troy Polamalu, Peter, what did you get for Secret Santa? Who cares?
Shut up!
Got you a lump of coal. How about that? Bill Cowher was a defensive-minded coach. That he was. Mike Tomlin is a defensive-minded coach. That he is. There are some cases, but I will tell you, Ralph, as we will get you on here in just a little bit, that the trend around the NFL is to hire offensive-minded guys simply because of the attitude of a defensive-minded coach being too conservative. Furthermore, with quarterback being a pivotal position more than it was 10 to 15 years ago, you got to develop that guy, and you got to have an offensive guy to do it, in my opinion. Just saying. Ralph Williams, again, Mike Tomlin, defensive-minded coach. Eric, hi, Peter, what's going on? Just hope the Bucs win this weekend. Absolutely. Troy, defund Army, Navy football. Stop it.
This guy sucks.
It's my time. It's not your time.
This guy sucks.
Wrestling, yes, wrestling.
This guy sucks.
I mean, every time, Troy, you say something, I'm just going to play that. I mean, that is your soundbite right there, buddy. You bring absolutely nothing to the show besides complete and total nonsense. All right, Bucs will go 3-0 to end the year. Book it, Peter. Okay, good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Cole again, CSB brother. I love it. Appreciate you, Christopher Cole. Hope they win on Christmas because it's my birthday. Happy birthday! And Merry Christmas. Great show, Pete. Especially that guy they call the Greek. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Ray. Harry there. I guess Ray felt he was left out. Great job, Tampa Bay Ray.
Flawless victory.
You guys are a bunch of divas. Much love to Leo Haggerty. Absolutely. Ray again. Harry, Ray. We love you too, Ray. Jeez, are you guys having kumbaya? What are you having, a campfire meeting. Well, what's going on here? Wrestling? Yes, we're talking wrestling. Shut up.
Shut up!
And Harry Berg, Merry Christmas. All right, let's get out to the guys here. It is our turnbuckle talk. WWE, AEW, wrestling around the world here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. We got Mr. Mark Mancini, former XPW announcer, Mancini Media, XM Sirius Radio, and the bodyguard. Turn down. We got some feedback. We got feedback there still? Okay, get that feedback off there, bodyguard. You got the feedback? Nope, we don't have the feedback, so I'm not going to deal with the feedback. Go ahead and fix that, and we'll bring you back in. Let's go out to it. Let me start off with this here on the Sports Web. Welcome, my friend. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Your thoughts on the passing of the great Franco Harris. Welcome.
Well, first of all, this is a show that's sweeping the country. We'll continue to sweep the country into the new year and beyond. It's a pleasure being on here every Wednesday, baby. Yeah, sad day in Pittsburgh, man. My voice is shot, but it's unfortunate. The last time I remember something like this was when my idol Willie Stargell died just before they opened PNC Park in 2001. And you fast forward that now to 2022 and 50 years to the anniversary of the Immaculate Reception, where some idiots still think the ball touched the ground. That ball never touched the ground in Three Rivers Stadium. Franco Harris scooped that thing up just before it hit the ground and rumbled down the sidelines to beat those hated Oakland Raiders. But, boy, that's sad, man, losing a guy like that. But the only thing I could say, Peter, is somewhere up above, man, God's building one hell of a football team, and Franco Harris is going against John Madden.
Well, absolutely. You got John Madden at the end of the day. Of course, he passing on to the other side. And, of course, Franco was just doing an interview with Mad Dog saying how great he was and looking to, be there for the 50th anniversary celebration of Raiders versus the Steelers on Saturday. And then, boom, this happens. And it's disappointing. It's a loss for the football world. I'll tell you what, let's go out to Ralph here. Let's see if we got his sound cleared out. Ralph, are you there, my friend? And he is doing a production meeting on air. So let's start off with it. Got to get your thoughts on this locally here. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they go up 17-3. A lot of people are excited about what they're doing, their game plan. And then in the second half, they go for a fake punt. And Tom Brady, and I never thought you would say this, 4 straight turnovers. What are you seeing from Brady right now? What are you seeing from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? It certainly seems like they're on a free-for-all.
Well, I like, when you look at it, I think, Tom Brady, first of all, the personal problems, the divorce has taken a lot out of him. And you can't mask that. You can put on a face, but, you can't play football with that behind you. It's tough. And I think he's doing a pretty darn good job of trying to keep this team in contention. They're going to win the division because I think the other 3 teams in the division can't form one team to dethrone, Tampa. But, Tampa's going to go in. Arizona's a depleted team, and they got a lot of internal problems. We don't know if Kingsbury's coming back. We don't know if Kyler Murray is going to play for the Oakland A's or what. But I will tell you this. I don't think anything's going to stop Tampa from going into Arizona and beating them. And then you just roll the last 2 games of the year.
Yeah, and you got, of course, you got the Panthers and you've got the Atlanta Falcons. All right, Ralph, let's go out to you, the bodyguard of the Berg, Mr. Ralph Williams, Pittsburgh's forgotten son. And with that being said, your thoughts on Franco Harris and his passing today?
Wow.
Well, Franco Harris was a great athlete for the Steelers. He represented the Steelers well. And in the community, he was a real good representative for the community, for the Steelers in Pittsburgh and around the country. We have a women's football team here called the Pittsburgh Passion. He was part owner of that. He was involved in a lot of charity golf outings, things like that. So Franco has done a lot here. And it's sad to see him go. I was choked up by it this morning because we're coming into the weekend of the celebration of the Immaculate Reception. Tomorrow night, one of our local stations is doing an exclusive, and then at 9:00 p.m. on the NFL Network tomorrow night is the Franco Harris A Football Life. So, and it's the premiere. So it's pretty sad that this happened to Franco Harris on a key weekend where we had a guide today, and I felt bad for him. He flew in from California to be part of the festivities and be a part, and had tickets for the game. And then Franco Harris passing, he felt bad. He said, "I just got into town and heard about it." And people have been putting flowers all over on the monuments here with Franco Harris at the Heinz History Center at around Acrisure Stadium, and out at the airport, there's a big statue of Franco Harris. They have been putting flowers and coming up and saying prayers and things like that. So it's been a busy day here as regards to Franco Harris. My best friend, his uncle, his deceased uncle, well, his cousin right now is one of the last members of the Franco's Italian Army, and I'm friends with his family, the Ventos, and they're going to be on this special program, and they're probably going to be on Friday night at 9 p.m. for the Franco Harris debut of A Football Life. That's my thoughts on Franco Harris, basically.
Good stuff, man. Appreciate you. I got to ask you, because you've been a real big-time critic of Tom Brady. How much did you enjoy those 4 turnovers on Sunday, and how surprised were you that Brady was doing that? And what have you seen out of Brady's game? Do you think he should hang it up at the end of the year, in your opinion?
I believe he should. I've said he should. He's embarrassing himself more and more. I just don't think he doesn't have a supporting cast, Peter. That's the bottom line. You don't have an offensive line. You don't have a supporting cast. And you have a coach who really, and Todd Bowles, who really didn't do anything when he was a head coach the first time. And he just doesn't. He's not a good head coach. He's a good defensive coordinator, but he's not a good head coach. And that's the problem.
Right. And even put this out there, guys, and I'll ask you, and then we'll get to our turnbuckle talk and talk some wrestling with WWE, of course, and AEW and all the news and rumors that we've been kind of chewing on here the last 2 weeks. Mike Tomlin, there's a rumor out there he could be involved with the trade with the Carolina Panthers. Why not the Tampa Bay Buccaneers bring back Tomlin, even though he's a defensive-minded coach? He gets the best out of his players. If you're the Bucs in that organization, would you try to get him back in that building? Yes or no, Mark?
Yeah, I think that might be the thing, because I really think if Tomlin leaves, which has been rumored, and I know, being born there, but being out of there quite a while, Ralph would probably have more of the insight of what's going on. But I think Sean Payton's coming into Pittsburgh because he knows how to really nurture young quarterbacks. I think that would be a good fit. If Sean Payton doesn't go to Pittsburgh, Sean Payton will go to Green Bay.
I think you're out of your mind. I think Sean Payton's either going to the Chargers or the Rams if McVay steps down. But to me, the Chargers seems like a great position. You got Justin Herbert, Mike Williams there, Keenan Allen, young quarterback that can throw for over 300 yards. What's the problem there, gentlemen? It's coaching. It's the decision-making. It's, again, the development of a young quarterback like a Justin Herbert. I think that's what attracts Sean Payton and where he wants to go. He wants to go to the Chargers, in my opinion.
But here's the thing, Peter and Ralph. The only problem is that leash becomes real short in Los Angeles, more so than it does in Pittsburgh, because they don't fire coaches as fast in Pittsburgh. They let you build the system. So I think if I'm Sean Payton, I go small town with great tradition in Pittsburgh rather than be the redheaded stepchild in Los Angeles behind the Rams. And I don't think McVay's going anywhere. I think McVay will come back and try to figure this thing out. It's only his second time he's been out of the playoffs, but I think if it's definitely not Pittsburgh, I think it's Green Bay, because I think there's going to be a big shakeup in Green Bay.
It could be Aaron Rodgers out of there instead of the coach, just saying. But Ralph, your thoughts on Mike Tomlin, quite critical of him. What's happened with Tomlin, in your opinion, with the Pittsburgh Steelers? And do you think the Steelers should let him explore other possibilities like the Carolina Panthers? And I'm just throwing it out there, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay. All right, guys, here's how it is. Mike Tomlin has been our coach for 15 years. Now, I know he has a winning record in the regular season. Okay, his playoff record is horrible. He went to 2 Super Bowls with Bill Cowher's players. Okay, he has not been able to duplicate that at all. All right, but I will say this. Okay, Mike Tomlin, I feel personally, needs a new start somewhere else. I think he's worn out his welcome here in Pittsburgh, and he's been exposed this year. He has been exposed because nobody walks into a head coaching job and has a future Hall of Fame quarterback at his fingertips and wins with him for 14 years. He doesn't have that now, and he doesn't know how to react to it. He doesn't know how to coach to it, and I think this year's going to be his first losing season. And I said this, and all my media colleagues here in town, which of course I'm forgotten by most of them anyway, there's a few of them, they said, and I quote, "You're foolish," when I say I think he's going to step down because I believe he's going to have his first losing season. Now he's starting to see what the light is like without Ben Roethlisberger. And that's my thoughts on
okay. All right. Let's go out to Toxic Falcons here. He says, yo, what's going on, Toxic? And Aaron Rodgers could be a Falcon next year. How about try this on for size? How about the New York Football Jets and Aaron Rodgers? How do you see that working out? And then once again, we'll get to our wrestling talk. Mark Mancini.
Well, first of all, to me, Aaron Rodgers is a drama queen. I didn't know there was a lot of single women that he could actually date or celebrities around that Green Bay area. Now, if he takes his act to New York, this guy's going to be trying to look like Joe Namath. I don't know if it works.
Well, you could show Zach Wilson a thing or two, or maybe Zach Wilson.
Yeah, maybe Zach Wilson and him will go out and hit,
I've been critical of Wilson, but he played well. He made some good plays in that game versus the Lions, and they still lost.
Let me tell you something, Peter.
Yes.
This draft with quarterbacks is going to remind everybody of 1983.
Oh,
yes.
You got some quarterbacks coming out.
Yes,
and
you
let
do.
me tell you, teams are going to realize what they have and what they don't have. And if you're not performing, they're going to get rid of you real quick here. And I think New York is one destination that a quarterback is going.
Well, I think it's a possibility because Zach Wilson is definitely underachieved and he's looking like a bust right now, even though it's a second year in. Lots of reports out there. The locker room has lost confidence, and then the locker room wearing Mike White shirts at the end of the day. That's not necessarily a good thing. But Ralph, Aaron Rodgers to the New York Jets or the Atlanta Falcons?
Well, the Falcons, as Arthur Smith, who's supposed to be this quarterback guru, they just started Desmond Ridder down there this past week. Marcus Mariota was kind of stinking to join up a little bit, but he's done pretty well for himself, too. That wouldn't be a bad start for him. The only thing is, if I'm a young coach like Arthur Smith, I'm not going to tolerate Aaron Rodgers. So I see him going to the Jets where, and even Robert Saleh might not even want to deal with him either because Robert Saleh's tough. I had author Mike Westbrook on, and he was a special teams coach for many years for New Orleans, the Jets. And he said he attended some practices this year for the Jets at training camp. And he told me that Robert Saleh is a very detailed person. Every practice, everything that's done is detailed. And he thought that the Jets were going to have a good season based on that detail. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to want to go anywhere because I don't know who can get along with him and I don't know who can tolerate him. That's going to be the biggest problem there, guys.
Good point. All right, we're on with the madman himself, Mr. Mark Mancini, former XPW announcer, and, of course, the bodyguard of the Berg, Mr. Ralph Williams, Pittsburgh's forgotten son. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Let's move into it. Mandy Rose from the NXT brand gets fired. And then it's reported by TMZ Sports that after the firing on Wednesday, she has made $500,000 on Fan Time's platform. Yeah. Now, of course, the reason why she got fired in the first place is it was reported that she was doing OnlyFans. There were some pictures and videos out there that got leaked out. Now we learn that none other than Matt Bloom, a.k.a. the A-Train, was the one that was doing the research. Right or wrong, WWE firing her? Should she go to AEW? Do you think she goes back to WWE? Your thoughts, Madman?
Well, see, I'm not a big fan of if somebody works for a company and, they start to put these restrictions on you as far as what you can do and what you can't do. I like Mandy Rose a lot. I think she's one hell of a lady. You saw her in the WWE, then she goes to NXT, she gets the championship, she drops it, but she had it for quite a while. If somebody wants to do something after hours and make extra money, and it's her own body, who's it Stephanie McMahon to say what she can and what she can't make? I think jealousy's human nature on that point, and maybe Stephanie McMahon wishes she had a body that she can do the same thing to make 500,000.
Well, I think it was more of a decision by Triple H and the higher ups, but it also comes down to PG rating. Of course, Rose was said to drop the NXT Women's Championship. She dropped it to Roxanne Perez, but it was originally thought she was going to drop it at NXT New Year's Evil. Wow, I don't know what on January 10th. I mean, that doesn't even make sense. New Year's Evil on January 10th. I mean, on New Year's Eve. I mean, Ralph. And again, her content was not on OnlyFans. It was leaked from, and I didn't do the research here, you wise guys, on Fan Time. Fan Time content was leaked online, which caught the attention of those within the WWE. So was WWE correct in letting her go? Because it is a PG product. It's not the Attitude Era, and it's a bad look at the end of the day.
I think that's what they did. They had to do that, guys. My co-host on our Talking Wrestling show and Wrestle Talk, Smoking Jim Frazier, big fan of Mandy Rose, wasn't real happy about it. I hear Mandy Rose is going to Impact Wrestling. We'll see. That would be a boost for Impact. They need some help with their women's division. Ever since Tessa Blanchard left, it's gone down the toilet, and so has Josh Matthews' wife, and I can't remember her name. Mickey James, and she left. Yeah. Or no, she's married. Mickey James left from there. She's married to Nick Aldis. Mickey James is an AEW, and so and a few other of those ladies that were real good there, they've left and gone to other places, NWA and Impact, and so there we are. That would be great for Impact Wrestling. It really would. If she goes there.
I think AEW is the ticket, because you look at it at the end of the day, you got Britt Baker there, you got Saraya, who of course used to be Paige,
and Sasha Banks.
Oh,
Sasha Banks is supposed to be
Don't steal my thunder now, because I'm about to do that in just a moment.
That way.
Let me read these comments here. Leo Haggerty says, "Thanks, buddy. Thank you, my friend." And of course, Toxic Falcon says, "I feel like we are letting the women get away with too much in wrestling. They get to walk out, have OnlyFans and everything else." I mean, I think he's being funny there, but of course, going back to it, I mean, if she joins AEW, she may be also joining Sasha Banks, because the report last week is she's officially done. She was asking for something in the neighborhood of what Becky Lynch is getting, and WWE refused. I don't know why they would refuse, because she's one of their best young wrestlers out there. She's over with the crowd. She's had multiple championships. She just doesn't like how the way she was booked. Of course, she walked out with Naomi in the summer. So your thoughts, Sasha Banks being done with WWE, should she go to AEW, or do you think she will eventually head back to WWE like most of the wrestlers do when they go to AEW?
Well, first of all, what you got to do, guys, is you got to treat people like people. And I don't care who's running the WWE, whether it's Vince McMahon, Triple H, Stephanie, whoever, John Laurinaitis. What we have here is we have a consistent influx of people being let go, brought back, let go, brought back. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, Sasha Banks should be paid handsomely. She's done a lot for the WWE. We've seen this. Now we've got this other thing going, guys, with Riddle having preferential treatment over what Matt Hardy had to go through.
Stealing my thunder again.
Oh.
Go ahead.
No. But, I mean, what I'm trying to say here is, if you're going to create areas and it's going to be black and white, then why are certain guys given gray areas? That's the problem. If you want a successful company, then you got to cut it right down the middle. If you own a company and you start giving favors, people are going to start talking. and then it's going to come back to you, and that's what's happening.
You're absolutely right. And Ralph, I got to go out to you here with Sasha Banks headed to AEW. Is this a good move, or do you think eventually she'll head back to WWE? And furthermore, should they have matched her price with Becky Lynch? Is he up there, in your opinion, with the Becky Lynch?
Well, they should have matched her price, guys, because she is a great wrestler, brings the fans in the seats and things like that. WWE looks at it this way, and this is the way they look at it. We're going to go on with or without you. And that's the way they've been doing it for a long time. I don't care how great you are. Look what they did to Hulk Hogan. Look what they did to a lot of wrestlers over the years. They just chew them up and spit them out. WWE doesn't care. And now that you have AEW out there, the redheaded stepchild behind them a little bit, now they're starting to accumulate all these folks. I tell you what, if Sasha Banks goes to AEW and Mandy Rose, wow, their women's division just goes up and up and up. And that's exactly what I think would happen if they did go there. And you have Charlotte Flair coming back. You have Becky Lynch there now. You have some Bayley. So I think WWE thinks they're going to be pretty stable without them. That's my thoughts.
And right, with Bianca Belair, of course, being the champion,
right.
Of course, and now a former Hall of Famer speaking on the Hall of Fame podcast, Booker T gave his thoughts on the topic. He says, putting Sasha Banks over by saying, yeah, I think she would do well over there in Japan. I don't think that's something that I would retract or anything like that. Do I think she would do well in AEW? I think she would overshadow anything that's going on in AEW from the women's side more than anything. I mean, it's not anybody over there other than Britt Baker that I think she really matches up with from a star power perspective. That's just me. Wow. So no Paige, no love for Saraya. That's just my personal opinion. I could be wrong. I don't know in Japan she's going to have a whole lot of competition as far as going out there, seeing how tough, you know what I mean, how good she really is, because those women as well as the men in Japan take this business more serious, more so than most. Is Booker T correct on this? Is this a bad move for Sasha?
I think, well, I don't know, but when you look at it, let's figure this thing out. Braun Strowman came back. What's he doing? He's teaming with Ricochet. They don't know what the hell to do with Ricochet. And then you got the other guy now, Miz picked up. He reminds me of Haku. Where the hell did this guy come from? You're pushing this guy, but you're not pushing Karrion Kross and Scarlett. What the hell?
You just want to push Scarlett out there. You just love the intro. I mean, that's what it's all about. Honestly, you love Scarlett. You love the smoke show. Of course, that's what it's called in Impact Wrestling. Stop thinking I'm being.
Hey, Mark, we're still in thunder from Peter tonight.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, you guys are bringing it. I love it here, Ralph. What do you think? Sasha, is Booker right? Is this a mistake for her to go to AEW?
No, not at all. I mean, she's going to go where the money is, or she's going to go where she can, make her career a little bit better. Not be pushed aside or whatever, like they did with her and Naomi in the WWE. The way I see it is that Sasha should take whatever the best deal is she can get, and if Tony Khan's willing to offer her more money than what the WWE is, then go. It's all about that these days, guys. You know how that is.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody says Riddle on crack. I don't know about crack.
Well, he's in rehab right now.
Well, he's in rehab. He failed his second drug test, of course. Yep. He had this to say tonight on his first statement since his rehab. I've been working a lot on myself lately. I've been saying no and setting boundaries for the first time ever, and certain people aren't happy about it, but I couldn't be happier, healthier, or happier. Thank you for all the support. Again, he wrote on Twitter. Adult film star Jordan Max recently, you got to get a load of this, guys. Adult film star Jordan Max recently made public statements that she was dating Riddle for 6 months when he cheated on her with Misha Montana.
Oh my!
Who also works in the adult film industry. This may be the reason why he had some failures there with drug test. Social media influencer and OnlyFans content creator Daniela Petro also released allegations against Riddle, stating that the 36-year-old sexually assaulted her. She tagged WWE, Triple H, and Stephanie McMahon in her post asking for Riddle to be fired. Just a whole mess. But at the end of the day, you look at it, the hypocrisy, if you will. We talked about Mandy Rose and the adult content, how she's let go. Riddle failed multiple drug tests now. He's a great wrestler. He's held on to. Jey Uso has had DUI arrest. He's been held on. So you're exactly right. What do you think of the Riddle mess here, Madman?
Well, I think Riddle might have to move to Las Vegas. He can get all the hookers and everything he wants out there. But I think this is a situation where
that's where he's from.
I when you look at it, you think to yourself, wow, where's the help in WWE for these guys? But I guess, it isn't. I mean, all they do is come up with some gimmicks that don't really make sense. And I've just added another one to this gimmick, guys. If I couldn't stand the Judgment Day, here's another guy I can't stand is LA Knight. What the hell's his?
Whoa! Wait a minute.
Formerly known as Eli Drake.
Bury the hatchet.
Yeah. No, I like Eli Drake, and I like.
I like him.
Listen, he's great on the mic. This storyline with Bray Wyatt, and I don't know if you caught his promo on Friday night.
Yeah. Who's the guy that's Colonel Sanders in the back? Who's that guy?
Well, I think that's his brother, Bo Dallas.
That's Bo Dallas. Yeah.
Let's go to that. Let's go to that here. What do you think about this storytelling that they have? Bray Wyatt coming back, the White Rabbit, and all this other stuff, and then LA Knight. I think it's perfect. And
here comes Alexa Bliss.
Well, and you saw it because they showed you a preview of it when she wrestled Bianca Belair, and she did Sister Abigail. I mean, gentlemen, do we like this storyline? I love LA Knight. I like the storytelling. I think they got to move it along a little bit, and I'm curious to see how they do this Uncle Howdy because it was interesting. I mean, I don't know if you can pull off a supernatural gimmick these days. I think we've seen it all in horror and everything else. I'm not sure if you can do that in wrestling, maybe with the kids, but with adults at home like our age, we've seen it with The Undertaker. I mean, what do you think about the overall storyline with LA and, of course, Bray Wyatt?
Well, I love it. I mean, I think it's going to be right up there with the Bloodline. I mean,
it's going to be better than the Bloodline. Bloodline is terrible, bro.
Well, the whole thing with the Bloodline, why it's getting stagnant now is they're getting ready for that turn here with Sami Zayn. That's going to come a week from Friday when I think Owens and Cena will win that in Tampa. That's in Tampa.
In Tampa, yes. Yeah. December 30th. So, by the way, if you guys want to get me something, for Christmas, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
December 30th, John Cena, Owens versus the Tribal Chief and Roman Reigns, and of course,
that's where you're going to see the turn. That's where the turns come.
That would be tremendous, but I feel like it's going to happen before WrestleMania. I think it's too soon. I think it's too soon. You got to.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah. All right. So I think you're wrong about this, and I'll bet you a plate of wings, Mark, that they don't turn Tampa right there. Ralph, what do you think here? This storyline between Bray Wyatt and LA.
Well, it's a good storyline to bring Bray Wyatt back. He's trying to get back into the fold in the WWE. You're right; they are moving it a little too slow. I like LA Knight. I think he's a good wrestler. I think him and Bray Wyatt in a match would be good. Bo Dallas is Uncle Howdy. And they're supposed to be bringing back Eric Rowan and I don't know who else. Oh, I heard Karrion Kross. I heard Dexter Lumis. I've heard all kinds of rumors about who's going to be in the Wyatt family. There's supposed to be 6, so we'll see how that goes. They're calling it the Wyatt 6.
That's correct.
So let's see what happens.
Yeah, the Wyatt 6, and of course, what you're alluding to is Bronson Reed. In fact, according to various reports, Triple H prioritized Bronson Reed as a major signing. He returned on WWE Monday night to help The Miz beat Dexter Lumis in a ladder match. Triple H considered Reed a priority hire when he took over as WWE's chief content officer. Since taking over as the top creative voice in the company over the summer, Triple H has brought back several superstars who were released by Vince McMahon in recent years. Reed joins a group of returning superstars that includes Dakota Kai, Karrion Kross, Scarlett, your favorite, Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt, Emma, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson. Reed was originally in NXT in 2019. Triple H clearly saw a lot in the Australian big man because he defeated Johnny Gargano to win the NXT North American Championship in May of 2021. What do you think about not only Triple H and his creative input with bringing back all these wrestlers? Mark, I already know what you think about Karrion Kross and Scarlett, but the rest of them and Bronson Reed. Matt.
To me, Bronson Reed, just from looking at him, he kind of reminds me of the guy. Where's that other guy, Mansoor? What happened to that guy? That guy was a wrecking ball too. Remember him?
Right.
Yeah. So you bring these guys in. I think it's like, I think you alluded to earlier, Peter, and Ralph might have touched on it. You bring these people in and you churn them out after 15 minutes and spit them out and spit them to the sidelines. You can't do that. Maybe it's time for the Triple H's and everything to sell this to somebody that's actually going to give a damn about this organization and take it to new heights. Maybe it takes somebody like, and I don't want to segue into it, but I'll use this as an example, Steve Cohen of the New York Mets that spent $800 million on 6 free agents. Maybe it's going to take somebody like that gives a damn about what he's paying his money on and wants to treat people like people, or Steve Ballmer. But I think it's time for these guys to sell it because there's too many guys coming in and out. And this is not the wrestling we grew up with Rick Rude and everything.
Well, there was always change and there's always been free agency, but it's more now than ever because AEW and Tony Khan are willing to pay those prices at the end of the day. Talk about it a little bit. Bronson Reed here, Ralph. What do you think about him and his future? And what do you think about Triple H bringing back all these wrestlers that were previously fired from Vince McMahon?
All right, to get your point about Braun Strowman, I think he's going to go after Gunther for the Intercontinental title. And there's a rumor out there that Brock Lesnar is going to fight Gunther at WrestleMania. So we'll see how that works. Anyway, getting back to what you were saying there, Peter and Mark, Bronson Reed coming back, that's a good thing. But this is like the transfer portal in college. Now you got guys going everywhere, and you can't follow who you want to follow because, you have guys going all over the place. And this is the same thing here now. You have guys going here, going to AEW. But see, the thing is different, guys, you have to understand. If you work for AEW, you can work for other groups. You can work for NWA, MLW. You can work New Japan. You can work for Impact. You can work for anybody else. Look at Matt Taven. Matt Taven is everywhere, and he's been on AEW. He's been on Impact, and now he's back with the ROH thing that Tony Khan has going on.
Ring
he's
of
trying
Honor.
to get that going.
AEW Light, we call that. Yeah.
Right.
AEW Light.
Yeah, and that's supposed to be going in a different direction. He's trying to get it back where it once was, Tony Khan. So we'll see what he does with it. But like Matt Taven, you go to the WWE, you can't go anywhere else. You have to stay there and wrestle. Carl Anderson, he was supposed to team up with somebody in New Japan, and before him and Gallows came back, he had to cancel what he was doing there to go to the WWE because the WWE wouldn't let him do it. So what I'm saying to you is, the shuffle's going to continue to happen because Triple H wants to get guys back that he thinks can work. But then don't forget you have Vince McMahon coming back now, and things are going to get a little different.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I don't see Vince McMahon being welcomed back with open arms. I get it. He wants to come back to the company, but that's a terrible optic. Just leave him be, let him go, no more. In fact, speaking of somebody coming to another wrestling company, Brock Lesnar is the guy. In fact, in the mid-2000s, Kurt Angle and many other top stars were signed to Dixie Carter's led promotion, which, of course, is TNA Impact. Now, the story is from Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar allegedly was interested in working for the company in 2007. Guys, get this. Kurt Angle says, okay, Brock calls me. He's not in the WWE. He says, listen, man, can you get me in TNA? I probably shouldn't even be saying this now, but you know what? Brock doesn't care. He said, hey, what are you making? I said, what I was making. He said, if you can get me that, I'll come. I approached TNA and they said, no, we're not going to give him that kind of money. And then Angle goes on to say, I think they were at the top of their budget where they couldn't really give any more money out. I was making a lot more money. Sting was making a good bit of money, and then you had a bunch of guys on the roster. You know, TNA, the Carter family funded it for a long time, and then TNA started making their own money, but it just wasn't enough to bring in another guy for 7 figures a year. I don't think they were capable enough to do that. Major mistake by TNA to not capitalize on this opportunity. Brock Lesnar in TNA? I mean, does TNA and Impact basically take over at that point? I mean, do they have an opportunity to really cut into those ratings at that juncture with WWE?
I do. I really did. I thought they did, but making a mistake like that and not capitalizing on it. You know, sometimes when you think about something and you say, well, I'll get it next time, and next time might be it's not there. Well, that's the same thing. This is, you know, it's a situation, you know, you can't sit here and worry about it. You secure it, so you got it. Case in point, Correa going to the Giants, and the Giants sitting there left with a bag, and he goes to the Mets. So,
Yeah, absolutely crazy at the end of the day. And he took less year, and looks like he took a little bit less money.
He left $35 million and a year on the contract.
I love what the Mets are doing this year. I get everybody's like, well, they're spending all kinds of money. It's their money to spend. They're trying to win a World Series. It's a lot better than, you know, being a Tampa Bay Rays fan and, you know, barely going to like Goodwill to pick up guys that are, you know, off the shelf or done or something. You know?
How about the Pittsburgh Pirates, man?
Well, listen, the Pirates are a great example.
Hey, we're spending money.
Well, listen, the Pirates are a great example of why you don't give a team a new stadium, because ever since you guys have gotten a new stadium, you failed to spend consistent money. You failed to be competitive. And that's what I continue to tell people. Look, you may have a new stadium, but if you get a new stadium down here, I feel like the fans of Tampa Bay should make them sign a contract. And that would be the Rays and Stu Sternberg to say, yes, we're going to give you a new stadium, but you're going to be competitive from here on out, which means you're going to spend over $100 million every year to be competitive, or get out of my face with the new stadium talk. Ralph, your thoughts on Brock Lesnar and TNA?
Well, Dixie Carter, as everyone has seen, cannot find her way out of the paper bag. She had MVP down there working with her, Hulk Hogan. She had Eric Bischoff, and she had Vince Russo. She couldn't get nothing right. Everything she did, she couldn't get nothing right. And that's another example of why TNA went down the toilet and Impact got sold to Anthem Sports, because Dixie Carter was a terrible, horrible manager of the whole, horrible owner, horrible everything to that whole thing. She sunk it into the ground. Look what she did to Sting. Look what she did to AJ Styles. Look at what she did to Kurt Angle. Look at what she did to a bunch of these guys. She just, I mean, it was bad. And then towards the end, it got worse. So, I mean, you know, Impact's on pretty good footing right now with Anthem Sports. But, you know, they got lucky because Anthem Sports picked them up and they cleaned house. They did some different things. And that's great. They're still on. They're still, you know, going. I mean, you know, look at ROH. They were gone for a while. And then Tony Khan bought them. But, you know, Dixie Carter just was horrible at the whole thing. I mean, I think you guys will agree with me on that if you saw what I saw.
Well, the biggest mistake was at the time, you know, they were trying to go head to head with WWE on Monday night.
Right.
That didn't work out. You tried to do what WCW did again with getting Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan and Scott Hall and Kevin Nash and trying to do the whole NWO thing. That didn't work. You had more TV time for Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan than you had for some of your young wrestlers like an AJ Styles. So that's the problem at the end of the day. And I love Hulk Hogan, but the guy plays politics at the end of at the moment. I mean, we know this. He wants his TV time. He also wants to get over. He's not looking to necessarily put over young guys, in my opinion. So that's the problem. You get these guys and their names, but you got to get ratings if you're going to go against WWE, and it fell flat. And then eventually they lost all kinds of money. Wrestlers moved on, and you're exactly right. And that's all Dixie Carter at the end of the day. Now, yes.
Well, see, guys, here's the thing, too. Tony Khan got a lot of money to play with, and his family doesn't care how much he spends because he's already lost money. He lost $50 million last year. We'll see what he loses this year, okay? They don't care, and neither does Tony Khan. So he has money to go up against the WWE, where Dixie Carter did Dixie Carter didn't even come close to even trying to do anything to go up against the WWE. And then everybody needs to take a look at the failure of WCW before you try to go against the WWE.
Well, I will say this, for what was it, 96 weeks, something along, because that's the
Right.
podcast of Eric Bischoff, 96 or 96 weeks, they were beating WWE, and
Yes.
it was Eric Bischoff putting all this money into the guys that were known at the time, and they could get over, and he had young guys. But the problem was when you did that, then that's when WWE went into their mode where you build a Triple H, you build a Rock, you build a Stone Cold, not necessarily name guys, you make them name guys. And then eventually the people that are fans of the other show are just tired of seeing the same old guys. And you think about it, WCW, what did they have? They had Chris Jericho. They had Eddie Guerrero. They had Dean Malenko. I mean, they had some wrestlers.
Chris Benoit. They had a lot of guys.
Right.
You know?
And at the time, they allow those wrestlers to be mid-carders and not get over for the guys that were known. That's the problem. And you're hoping, and I think that's what AEW is doing differently, as yes, you have the name guys, but they're not getting over. They're getting the younger guys over. That's the reason. That's the vehicle of why you have those veteran wrestlers in the first place. Just my opinion. All right, let's go. Yes, go ahead, Mark.
And not only that, if Vince McMahon had a habit, if you were a competitor back then, he'd buy you up. Just ask ECW.
Sure. Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. They had a working relationship with ECW, but they were able to sell it that ECW was an invader, and WCW also had a working relationship with ECW when they went out of business. But they were trying to duplicate that. WWE wasn't trying to do that. They've already made that mistake years further down the road. They try to duplicate that. There's never, ever going to be any duplication of Extreme Championship Wrestling. It will not be allowed on TV ever again. It was one of those moments where you're like, damn, they got away with a lot of stuff there. And ECW wrong.
Well, the only other thing that came close that they were trying was that underground thing Shane McMahon was trying to come up with. Remember
terrible.
that?
It was terrible.
Yeah, that was
terrible. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. All right. Finally here, Stephen A. Smith, who, of course, however, has become a top sports broadcaster of ESPN, making in some ways of $8 to $10 million. Was speaking to Ric Flair on First Take, and he said he loves what WWE is doing under the leadership of Nick Khan, Stephanie McMahon, and Triple H, and that he's looking forward to attending WrestleMania 39. Now, pay attention. I just got word passed along that because WrestleMania is in California, that you love California. I think they're entertaining the idea of having you manage one of these guys that can't talk too well. Flair said with a laugh. Stephen A. said under one condition. He says, Bobby the Brain Heenan, Paul Heyman, and these guys, I would love to be a bad guy manager. I want to be one of those bad guys. I don't want to be a goody two-shoes guy. I want to be a troublemaker, bad manager. I think I could pull it off. If they want me to be a bad guy manager, no one can touch me. I'm going to have that as a part of my contract. Nobody can touch me. I'm too frail. I can't let them touch me. Ain't nobody body slamming me. What do you think? Because I think this would be absolutely entertaining. And then on top of it, I mean, what if it was like a Cowboy player that comes out and does it to Stephen A. Smith? I mean, how would that not get over? Stephen A. Smith as a heel manager for WrestleMania 39. Does that work for you, Mark?
Well, the only thing I have in common with Stephen A. Smith, he hates the Cowboys and I hate the Dodgers. and we let everybody know, not with just our voice, but with a megaphone. And when you see this guy out here, this could be hilarious. I mean, anything happens in Los Angeles. I'm looking for a lot of things to come out in this one. Maybe, Jerry Jones gets involved in this too. Who knows?
Well, I like to definitely see, and I tell you, at the end of the day, Stephen A. Smith can do a couple things. Not only entertain and educate, but also he can be on that mic. He can cut a promo. I mean, if you're a WWE, Ralph, who would you pair Stephen A. Smith with? Give me a young wrestler out there that you think Stephen A. would put over at the end of the day.
Austin Theory.
Yeah.
Whoa! There you go. There you go.
Austin Theory would be the perfect team. Perfect, right?
I like it a lot.
And remember, that's perfect.
Yes, Austin Theory with Stephen A. Smith. And of course, I think it's going to set up the eventual WrestleMania match. In just my opinion, John Cena versus Austin Theory, young versus one of the greatest of all time, and John Cena. With that being said, Mark Mancini, go ahead and promote yourself here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend.
XM 203, Sirius 217, Philadelphia's WWDB AM 860 with Marianne and Sal and all those the great shows across this country that I'm part of, and I'm so blessed. Ralph tomorrow night, you on Wednesdays. And man, oh man, I just want to wish all the listeners a Merry Christmas and a safe New Year.
We got to get you a camera there that could stand up, because you got to get you one of those camera stands that are because it keeps on going. Good stuff, Mark. Appreciate you as always. Merry Christmas.
I love you.
Love you too,
Can't
brother.
wait till next Wednesday.
Yes, sir. Next Wednesday, Turnbuckle Talk here on the Evolution. See you later, my friend. All right.
God bless you guys.
God bless you too.
All right, Mark. See you tomorrow.
There we go. Let's go to Ralph Williams here. Mr. Ralph, go ahead and promote yourself.
Yeah, Ralph Williams. I have a new company, RW Media, and I have shows on YouTube. You can subscribe to my channel. I have Sports Corner, the way I see it, talking wrestling, and Ralph Williams one-on-one. We're also on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. Also, you can reach me at ralphwilliams737@gmail.com.
All right, good stuff. The bodyguard of the Berg, Pittsburgh's forgotten son, Mr. Ralph Williams. Thanks a lot for your time here on the Sports.
You're welcome anytime, Peter.
Appreciate you, boss. There we go. That's it for the night. Thanks a lot to all the guests. Mr. Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire of 1252 Chicago Sports. Of course, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay. You got Leo Haggerty, of course, former coach, scout, and now media member of Night Sports Productions, and of course, Amped Up Sports, Ralph Williams, the bodyguard of the Berg, and Mr. Mark Mancini, and your calls and your text messages. We'll be back when there's breaking news with your local Tampa Bay sports teams, whether it's the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Tampa Bay Rays, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and of course, join me for the post-game edition of the Sports Web on Christmas night. Ho, ho, ho. We'll be here, hopefully giving you the opportunity to talk about a Tampa Bay Buccaneer win over the Arizona Cardinals. With that being said, like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube, and like I Love St. Pete, the Hub, and Amped Up Sports on Facebook. 3 things. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And Bucs fans, it's your time. Have a great night.
uwager.lv, sportsbook, and casino. Sign up today at uwager.lv, the premier online sportsbook, taking wagers since 1998. The most player-friendly lines, weekly juice specials, and a true dime line in MLB. Unique casino platforms with thousands of games. Play poker, high stakes, low stakes, or tournament play. uwager.lv, what we offer. Free same-day payouts. Customer service and wagering support, 24/7, year-round. Free monthly rebates on your action and daily casino rebates. Contests, free bets, best bonuses, and giveaways. Generous referral program. Get an 80% free play bonus on your first deposit, up to $1,000. Sign up today and use promo code SPORTSWEB. Remember, you can't win if you don't play.
Welcome to another edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Well, they teased us, didn't they, ladies and gentlemen, huh? The first half, they were up 17-3, doing everything we talked about on this show ad nauseum. Isn't it amazing? You know, fans, sports broadcasters alike are not so stupid after all. Pass play action, mixing it around a little bit, being able to go down the field, dominating time of possession, third down conversions, going to your playmaker and Mike Evans, and it all seems to work. You start to feel good about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2022. But don't do that. Because as always, and this goes back to one of the terms that my father used to say, rest in peace, Richard Blake, self-destruct Bucs. Can somebody explain to me, why are you calling a fake punt? Why are you calling a fake punt, Todd Bowles? And if it isn't a fake punt, what is Giovanni Bernard doing? He does know that he doesn't play for the Cincinnati Bengals still, does he? He does play for the Bucs. But oh no, that's not just it. No. We're not going to leave him out of this mess. It's not just the special teams today. Heck, it's not even the defense. You know who it was today that cost this team the win? It's Tom Brady. Sorry, it is 4 turnovers and a partridge in a pear tree. Terrible throw. Fumble. Another fumble. An interception. And I get it. You can come on this program and make all the friggin' excuses you want to about the offensive line being bad. We know it. Once again, critical penalties, nullifying big-time plays. Amazing.
This guy sucks.
Amazing how that works. And if it's not the offense, then it's the defense. But I feel bad for the defense. They did everything they could today to win this game. But when you're being put on short fields, which, you know, you kind of remember what, about 2 or 3 years back, maybe about 3 years back, 4 years back, you know, we used to have these type of shows on the Sports Web, and it was always Jameis Winston turns over the ball too much. You can't win that way. Well, guess what? Tom Brady turned over the ball too much, and you lost. And you know what the worst part about it is? This team could win that game. This team could beat any team in the National Football League. But you know what holds them back? Themselves. They continue to shoot themselves in the foot over and over again. And nothing has changed. You get out to a great lead and you squander it. 5 turnovers in the second half. Completely embarrassing. I thought I saw the worst Bucs football ever. But nope. This team just showed you how bad they really are.